comes the 1 p.m. stream if you're watching online, or Portia if you're watching on TV. See you tomorrow, everyone.
Thanks for joining us here at Fox 5 News Live, where we're streaming on Fox Local and TikTok right now. We have a lot of stories to get to. A lot of them are devastating. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our assignment manager, Tanya Mendoza. She has a look at some of those stories and what we're working on and what you can expect from reporters here at Fox 5. Tanya, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, we had breaking news this morning here in the newsroom. When I arrived, we started getting phone calls from viewers saying that there was a huge police scene going on in DeKalb County. Now, that was around North Decatur Road and DeKalb Industrial Way. We sent our reporter, Mark Teichner, out there. Also, I went ahead and called Ray Yadena and had him go out to the scene. Basically, here's what we know. I believe this video might not be the correct video, but it's okay. We're going to talk about the one in DeKalb County first. So basically, out there, what we were hearing was that there's was a huge crime scene. DeKalb County Police Department did respond to us, and they said what happened was some sort of incident involving a suspicious man. When the situation, it turned violent, the suspect stabbed an officer allegedly, and then the officer fired back at the suspect, striking the suspect. The officer was taken to Grady. We sent our photographer Eric Len over to Grady Hospital, where he did see the DeKalb County Police Chief walking in to check on the officer. We're waiting for more information, and we do have a little sound with the witness out on that scene. Can we toss to that sound? Okay, so I don't hear the sound, but what we can tell you is that witness was describing what they heard when it all went down. And we have Ray out there right now. He's going to get some more information on that and have live reports later in the day. Jasmine?
Yes, Tanya, and I was looking over to my right to see if we could play that sound, but, you know, this is such a scary situation here, an officer stabbed, and, you know, earlier it was reported from officials that the suspect here had died, but they went back and said, no, this is not the case. The suspect is in the hospital with critical injuries.
Yeah, and that, you know, usually they get that right, some sort of miscommunication there, but the latest was exactly what you said, that he was still alive and he was taken to the hospital. So we'll have updates on both his condition and the officer's condition a little later.
And Tanya, we do have that sound now, so let's go ahead and hear what's being said about this.
It was loud enough for me to distinguish that it was a shot and not a car backfiring. So I looked to see if there was a car. There was no cars passing, and it was 3 shots.
All right.
Yeah, so scary, Jasmine, to hear that. You know, that happens a lot. You know, you hear around in and around Atlanta. Sometimes you hear sounds and you're wondering, is that a gunshot? Is it a car backfiring? So in this case, it was a tragic situation, and we'll have some updates later today.
Absolutely, Tanya. And this next tragic situation here out of Johns Creek, where kids now are without both of their parents.
That's right. So Brittany Edney was on this story in the overnight hours, and it's a really sad story. And actually, I have the press release from Johns Creek Police Department. I'm going to read off of here. It says at around 11:26 last night, officers responded to a domestic disturbance at a residence on 5360 North Hillbrook Brace. Upon arrival, officers made contact with a juvenile male who reported that a verbal altercation between his parents had escalated into a shooting. Officers entered the residence and located 2 deceased individuals identified as 52-year-old male by the name of Richard Holliday and a 43-year-old female by the name of Martha Holliday. Preliminary investigations indicate the female died from a gunshot wound to the head and that the male died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Although the investigations are early and ongoing, detectives believe the male shot and killed the female and then took his own life. Next of kin have been notified and the couple's children are safe. Investigators believe this was an isolated domestic incident and that there is no threat to the public. Brittany was out there trying to get information all night, and this is the latest from the police department. Tragic situation. Jasmine?
Wow, I just can't imagine here kids having to call the police to report their parents in a domestic dispute here, and then it leads to a shooting. So my thoughts and prayers are with that family for sure. Let's move forward to this meeting. Hopefully we can find some information on what Atlanta is going to do regarding public safety and all of the incidents happening on the MARTA trains.
That's right. So the Atlanta Public Safety Committee meeting is happening today starting at 1 o'clock. Our Anjali Proctor will be there. She covers all the city meetings. And basically, the Atlanta Police Department is expected to address crime numbers and ongoing, you know, it's anticipated that they may mention the ongoing transit safety concerns and that's crime in and around MARTA. So everybody will be watching and hopefully have an update. As you know, Jasmine, I was working Friday night when the latest MARTA shooting went down, and we sent a crew out there. We had some sound from a witness. I believe it was a scary situation for the people on the train, and with big events coming to the city of Atlanta, there is a level of concern, and we'll hear from officials today.
All right, definitely looking forward to what they have to say. Yes, that shooting on Friday at a MARTA station. Then we have the 2 stabbings, one at the Oakland City station where a 66-year-old woman died, and then also the one at Georgia Tech, or at the Georgia Tech MARTA station, and they're still looking for that suspect there. So looking forward to what police say in this meeting. Tanya, thank you so much for joining us to talk about what Fox 5 is working on today.
Thank you, Jasmine.
All right, guys, let's take a live look outside. Look at that beautiful view. I mean, we all love this shot here and just seeing all the traffic moving. Let's talk weather now. It looks clear out there right now, but I think there might be some rain in the forecast.
Yeah, so we're going to be wet here over the next couple of days, and it's really going to be the tale of 2 stories. Some people are going to see a little bit of rain, other people are going to see a whole lot of rain, and sometimes it might just be like 2 miles worth of distance in terms of who sees what. So let's get to it and check out Fox 5 Live Viper right now, because we are already beginning to see some heavier showers fall at this hour, 1:10 p.m., take you over towards Paulding, Douglas, and Cobb counties, in and around the Dallas area, and really out 278 just on the east side of town. There's Merchants Drive, some heavier showers now, likely also between Kennesaw and Marietta. That's going to be right along Cobb Parkway, just south of Barrett Parkway, so just south of Town Center Mall, getting up towards the northern part, honestly not too far away from the square at this hour. That's moving off towards the east-northeast, and then down in towards Douglasville, Douglas County. There's Sweetwater Creek State Park just to the south of there, right along Fairburn Road, a pretty good shower at this hour. And here's the thing with these. I'm going to flip this from the radar to the rainfall rates, and at its heaviest, notice you do get some instances of pink in there. It's not sitting over that area for an hour, but if it did, it would drop 5.5 inches of rain. So that's a whole lot of water, and it goes to show you just kind of the nature of the atmosphere this morning. Likewise, up in Marietta, 4.6 inches an hour. In Paulding County, about 2.8, which is still a lot of water, and that's what's leading to the flash flooding threat. So we look at this for the whole picture, and you see that over the last hour or so, we've seen this bubble up, and it's going to continue to bubble up into the evening hours tonight, and that is going to make for a wet evening commute. Flood watch in effect basically for Metro Atlanta and points north and west till 9 this evening. That's going to be for isolated instances of flash flooding. So no, you're not going to see flooding in every green shaded area, and no, the threat obviously doesn't stop right at the county lines, but that's what we're looking for into the day ahead. So this afternoon, showers and storms very much going to be around. Temperatures upper 70s and low 80s, hour by hour. There you go. Into the afternoon, notice some of that rain could be steadier at times. I don't want to say heavier, but it's just steady across the metro area, and that's going to last past the sunset hour this evening. Then into tomorrow, starting the day off already with a couple scattered showers, doing the whole rain and storm dance once again. The rain chance at about 50%, then getting into Wednesday. I think we trend a little drier on Wednesday, not totally dry, but about a 40% chance of rain as opposed to today's 70% chance. Towards the back half of the week, one thing we're going to be talking about, the heat and humidity. A 20% chance of showers and storms by Thursday and Friday as high temperatures come up into the upper 80s and low 90s. Couple that with the humidity, we are going to be talking about a heat index here in North Georgia.
All right, Alex, thanks so much for joining us to talk about weather and what we can expect there. I hope you all stay dry outside. Oh, my goodness. All the rain that you might see in your backyard. So, guys, let's continue with our local headlines here. Again, more devastating story, so just want to let you know that before I get into them. A shootout shatters a southwest Atlanta neighborhood. This happening early this morning, and you're taking a look at video we got earlier. So Atlanta police launched a SWAT operation in this area, and they surrounded a home near the intersection of Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard and Windsor Street. Multiple officers responded to the area where roads were blocked as law enforcement worked to secure the scene. police urged motorists to avoid this area while the operation remained active. Atlanta police later told us here at Fox 5 that there was a shootout in the area, but no one was hurt, which is some good news in this situation. However, some rounds did hit a home nearby, and they did have to search that home for evidence. The scene did start to clear around 5:30 this morning. No arrests have been made at this time, but we'll let you know when police releases additional information to us. And moving forward, we've been talking about the recent string of violent incidents on MARTA trains. Well, a suspect wanted in connection with a shooting aboard a MARTA train at the Midtown station is now in custody. Authorities say 37-year-old Anthony Tyrone Gresham was arrested yesterday morning after this multi-agency manhunt involving the FBI task force, Douglas County Sheriff's Office, Douglasville Police Department, Georgia State Patrol, and many other agencies. Now, this investigation, of course, began Friday night, like we mentioned, when MARTA officers responded to reports of a shooting on a train there, stopped at the southbound platform of the Midtown station. Officers found a man, the victim there, suffering from gunshot wounds to his arm and leg. Investigators say the suspect and victim did enter the station separately. They made eye contact across the platform, and the suspect here, Gresham, allegedly walked to the victim's rail car before opening fire from the platform. The victim was hospitalized and expected to survive. Police identified Gresham with assistance from Georgia Tech Police, and they alerted law enforcement agencies across the region. Around 10 o'clock yesterday morning, officers spotted him walking along Lee Road in Douglasville, and after a brief chase with him into nearby woods, troopers and K-9 units, supported by a State Patrol helicopter, they were able to track him down and took him into custody without incident. Now, Gresham is charged with aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Two separate charges there. Jail records show that Gresham was on probation at the time of the shooting and has previous arrests, including prior cases involving MARTA police. Authorities have not yet released the victim's identity, and investigators have not said what sparked the shooting, again happening on Friday night at the Midtown MARTA station. Well, thankfully, that man survived that shooting. But in this next story, a woman died as a result of a stabbing on a MARTA train. So a grieving community gathered alongside a heartbroken family on Sunday afternoon to honor this beloved woman on your screen, killed in a random knife attack on a MARTA train. Community members and family members as well gathered yesterday for this vigil to remember 66-year-old Margaret Swan. She was killed on the MARTA train a little over a week ago. And more than 100 people joined Swan's family to pay their respects to this mother and grandmother. So Swan was violently and randomly stabbed to death in this attack. Police have arrested and charged 25-year-old John Elijah Matthews with her murder. Swan's family shared that she had been watching her grandchild just before boarding the train. Family members and community advocates expressed immense grief and called for immediate safety changes across the transit network during yesterday's gathering. And a little more about the suspect here. They have charged 25-year-old John Elijah Matthews with murder following, again, what authorities describe as a violent, unprovoked, and random attack. Very sad story. Time right now is 1:18. When we return, we'll speak with our Chris Rosenthal. He has some lighter news. We'll actually talk sports, ice skating, so you don't want to miss this story. Welcome back to our news conversation here on Fox Local. Let's talk a positive story now. So the Atlanta Hawks flight crew will be looking for talented skaters to join their team at the legendary Cascade skating rink, and that's where we're going to find our Chris Rosenthal. I've never been to Cascade, but I would love to go and join you and also try to skate. I love to skate as well.
Yeah, I love to skate too. You know, maybe we can join the Hawks
The
flight
team,
crew as
yes.
skaters. Yeah, you know, but that's what these folks are here for. About 45 people here auditioning to be roller skaters on the Hawks flight crew. Let's take a look at them right now. They're just warming up before they learn their choreography here. This is the first time the flight crew is going to have a roller skating group. You know, they're the flight crew is the drummers and the tumblers and all the entertainment that you see on the court there at the Hawks games. Well, they're going to add roller skaters to it too. So that's why these folks have shown up today to audition. And I've got Katrina here. She is with the Atlanta Hawks. And tell me a little bit about this. Tell me why we're here today and what you guys are looking for here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We are looking to add new members to our flight crew team today, roller skaters for the very first time ever. We're at Cascade Skating Rink, which we believe is very true to Atlanta, with Cascade being a legendary institution, and we're really excited to be here.
You're one of the judges.
Yes.
What is it that you're looking for when you're going to be judging these folks here?
Yes, well, the Atlanta Hawks love to be true to Atlanta, so I'm definitely looking for someone who is true in their authentic self, stands in their individuality, but also is coming with that star power.
Gotcha. So when we see them, you know, we go to a game and we see them, what will they be doing? What will that look like out there?
Yeah, well, they will be involved in not only our in-game entertainment, but also our community events. As far as game goes, they will also be a part of our pre-game entertainment as well as during the in-game. So we're really excited to add this to our entertainment.
How'd you get the idea to add roller skaters here?
I mean, what better, thing to add to flight crew than roller skaters? It's very true to Atlanta. Cascade has been so amazing to work with, and we're just really excited to showcase local talent in Atlanta.
So this process here, how's this going to work today? What are we watching here right now, and how's this going to play out through the day here?
Yeah, so right now what you're seeing are them going through warm-ups and showcasing some skills that they may be learning in the routine that is coming up. We have our choreographer, Solomon Snowden, who is leading them through some across-the-floor drills. Next, you'll see them go through their choreography. They'll showcase that in groups, and then they'll have a freestyle round, and then we will make a cut and narrow it down to 10 skaters that will make it to the finals.
So all of this will just be 10, and then there's a 4 in the end, huh?
Yeah, so 10 will make it to the final round, which they'll go through interviews as well as a mini camp and a final showcase, and then we're looking to add around 4 roller skaters to the entertainment team.
Did you have a lot of excitement for
Yes, so much excitement. Our team is really excited. This is history right here. It's the first ever roller skater audition, so we're really excited, and we had a lot of people sign up. So I believe we're at 48 contestants today.
And what better place to do it here at Cascade Skating Rink? Like you said, nothing more Atlanta than that, really. So, yeah, I'm going to hang out here today. Thanks for joining us, Katrina. And I'll hang out here today and watch, and maybe I'll get to see who makes the cut going on here. I didn't bring my roller skates, though, unfortunately. But, these guys will be fun to watch here. And if you're wondering, by the way, if you want to join the team, they have closed the auditions already. So it'll be one of these. There'll be several of these folks moving on.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. That makes me think of the movie ATL with T.I., but this is pretty cool here. I grew up roller skating, roller blading, so have fun out there. And guys, let's continue with our entertainment headlines. So we know Simone Biles had a near-death experience. Meg Thee Stallion getting sued here, and could Taylor Swift become Mrs. Kelsey at an iconic New York venue? These are our top entertainment headlines. And Good Day's Alex Whitler got some of those answers from entertainment news reporter MZ Shanika.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Alex. Oh, I have that dress.
Oh, thank you. I liked your outfit too. Well, let's start off with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding, because we've been talking about this for a while now, but we're learning more about where it might be.
Yes, we have the details on that. First and foremost, I mean, what's bigger in New York City than Madison Square Gardens? I am like so happy for her. She's going to have 1,000 guests. Could you imagine having 1,000 guests?
I couldn't. I really could not.
Also, it is estimated to cost $20 million to put on this full production. That's a lot of money.
It is, but I wouldn't expect anything less because she does things big. She's known for being such a romantic too, so it just makes sense.
And I think it's beautiful. All these years I've been a Swiftie in these relationships that didn't work out, and I'm like, okay, well, what is this about Travis Kelce that really, locked it in? So it's beautiful to me to see her love story come alive. I love that for her.
Yeah, I love love. We've been talking a lot about weddings. I guess it's just wedding season, and I love to see how every ceremony has its own personality. It has its own flair, so I'm looking forward to theirs.
I wonder if she'll perform at her wedding for her son. I mean, why not write a song for your man, girl?
Oh, I'm sure it's on the way. I'm sure. Okay, let's start talking about who's suing Meg Thee Stallion and why.
Oh, wow. Well, I just can't believe this. Meg Thee Stallion is being sued by her former stylist, citing $1.2 million in fees that were unpaid. Now, this man said that he submitted so many things, including all kinds of estimates, the assistant fees, and all the things that it takes a star to look like a star, and said several emails were sent, several receipts were sent, and nothing was paid out. So he started out working for Meg Thee Stallion in January 2024 and worked up until August 2025 and has been trying to collect these monies from Meg Thee Stallion for the past 2 years. Now, Meg's team got on it, her financial team, and basically said that there were a lot of things that did not make sense, and they, quote unquote, called it a fraudulent activity. Yes, because some of the addresses and some of the receipts did not match. So Meg said that she is ready for her day in court.
Now, wait a minute. It was already juicy, the idea of a celebrity not paying a stylist. It got juicier when said celebrity goes, wait a minute, you tried to con me out of my money for these looks.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yes, it is. So she said she is ready for her day in court, and I'm like, okay, you go, girl, because
yeah, she's been in court quite a bit too lately.
I just don't know what to say to that. If it doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense, then I don't feel like I would have paid it either.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. This final story here is one that a lot of people care about. Simone Biles said she almost died. How?
Well, that is still a mystery, and it's very sad news to have to report because we don't get a lot of Simone Biles information. I mean, she is a world champion and, recently married. She said that no one was there during her episode. Her husband was away at camp training for the new football season, and she said dying was not on her bingo card. So really only her close friends and family members know what happened to her that was so scary that almost caused a near-death situation. So prayers up right now for Simone Biles. She said that she took a week and she rested, but she wanted to update people and let people know that she actually, went through something that was very traumatic. So, we looking out for the details, though, because, girl, what happened to you?
Mm-hmm.
We love you.
Everyone shares in their own time, but gosh, she just seems so invincible that it seems like she would be the one to cheat death. Yeah.
I mean, all of these gold Olympic medals and just being the world champion that she is, people do look at that sometime and say, she may be invincible, but she is a woman. She's 29 years old now. And, us as women, we definitely go through a lot of things. So once again, prayers up for her. And I hope that she keeps us updated with her progress.
Mm-hmm. Simone Biles is human, too. All right. Finally, we want to give a wrap on the Tony Awards.
Oh, yes, the Tony Awards. Did you get a chance to catch all the things and everything?
Now, you know, Miss Shanika, that I go to bed early, so
Yes,
don't
me
even
too.
start with me.
But okay, so last night the 79th Tony Awards were held at Radio City Music Hall. And when I tell you it was a beautiful night for so many people, big shout out to Joshua Henry. He won Best Performance by Leading Actor in Ragtime. Also, you got Cassie Levy, who won Best Performance by Lead Actress. Pink was pink, okay? She was pinking. He led, well, it was like 5,000 people performing with her, but she performed Lady Marmalade, and Meg Thee Stallion actually joined in on the fun. So it was such a sight to see all of these beautiful people. Meg even came out and said all the things that she learned while working on Broadway, like break a leg and all these different phrases. But once again, a beautiful night for so many people.
And I hear Pink would love to end up on Broadway someday, too, so maybe this was a nice little audition.
I thought she was already on Broadway, Circus Soleil.
I love the honesty.
In the air, singing and dancing and doing what she does. We love it.
Well, we appreciate your time and your energy, Miss Shanika. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex. Have a wonderful day.
You too. We'll see you next time. And you guys can listen to Ms. Shanika weekday mornings on Streets 94.5. You can also follow her on Instagram at Ms. Shanika.
All right, what a wonderful story there with Ms. Shanika and our Alex Whitler. Hope you enjoyed some of those headlines and those updates from her. Time is 1:32. When we return, we'll talk sports, the NBA Finals, and Georgia advancing to the College World Series. Welcome back. Let's talk basketball. All eyes are on New York here for tonight's Game 3 of the NBA Finals, where the Knicks lead the San Antonio Spurs 2-0 and are 2 wins away from the championship. Now, tonight's game tips off at 8:30 p.m. Officials, of course, have ramped up security at the Madison Square Garden because President Donald Trump and New York Mayor are both expected to attend this game here. The first NBA Finals game at Madison Square Garden since 1999 comes a day after 6 people were hurt in a stabbing at Penn Station directly under the arena. But many are talking about this game happening tonight. Looking forward to seeing the Knicks and the Spurs play. And some good news for Georgia from basketball to baseball. It was a big night for Georgia baseball fans as UGA is headed to the College World Series for the first time since 2008. Catcher Daniel Jackson sealed the win with a 2-run home run in extra innings, lifting the Dogs to an 11-9 victory here. Georgia nearly let it slip away after giving up 3 straight solo home runs, but held on to punch their ticket to Omaha. How about that? Fox 5 Sports reporter Georgia Chambers has this story.
This Georgia baseball team has spent all season making history. The Bulldogs became the first team in program history to win both the SEC regular season title and the SEC tournament, crushed a program record 174 and counting home runs, and now they've checked off the biggest box yet. For the first time since 2008, Georgia is headed back to Omaha for the College World Series.
I truly do go home and think about Omaha, and I think about going to that place and taking Georgia back to this place and securing the legacy that Georgia needs to have in Omaha.
I mean, we'll soak it in, for about 12 to 24 hours and then get right back to the grind. Be where our feet are at, take each day of practice, get better, set us up for, good time in Omaha winning.
Coach Johnson has made the trip to Omaha with 2 other teams, both times making it to the championship series. With Arkansas, they finished runner-up, and with LSU right before he took the job here at Georgia, they won it all.
I think the biggest thing is it's no different than what we've been through so far. I mean, you're going to play really good teams. You're really good. You have to remember that. I think that you have to go out and understand that it's a long game again. There's going to be a lot of emotions. I think the biggest thing is you can get caught up by the lights a little bit there. So it's like understanding, that you still, we'll have practice days and off days and this, that, and the other. And you got to go get your work in, then you can come back and enjoy yourself for a little bit and go watch some ball and take in all that.
In Athens, I'm Georgia Chambers, Fox 5 Sports.
All right, Georgia, thanks, and good luck to Georgia as they advance to the College World Series. Let's talk the World Cup. We are just a few days away from the World Cup, and with hundreds of thousands of visitors that is expected in downtown Atlanta for World Cup events, some questions are people are raising questions, that is, about whether the city is ready amid ongoing construction and infrastructure concerns. And you've been out there, you've seen it. A lot of construction still happening, construction work. World Cup preparations are already visible across downtown Atlanta, from construction near major venues to official branding throughout the city. But some advocates point to the ongoing construction, recent boil water advisories, and flooding concerns as signs the city still has some work to do and is just not prepared ahead of this global event. Let's take a listen.
I think we have major questions about whether Atlanta is World Cup ready. You only need to walk around the area by the stadium and see that there's still a lot of construction going on. Just last week we had a boil water advisory across the whole city. Not the first time that's happened. We had flooding that shut down parts of the city, major intersections. The World Cup itself will come and go, but Atlanta is a place of mega events. And I think what's really important for people is to think about, have we done this successfully? Could we have done things better?
And again, you just heard from Michael Collins with Playfair Atlanta. Officials have not yet confirmed if all much needed infrastructure upgrades will be fully completed before visitors arrive here for the matches. And the mayor's office has not responded to inquiries regarding the city's operational readiness or the timeline of the construction. Additionally, guys, it remains unclear how city leaders plan to prevent future utility failures, such as water main drops or flash flooding, when hundreds of thousands of international tourists fill the downtown grid. So a story that you all have been following and talking about. And of course, we've been talking about the World Cup coming to town as well. Let's go ahead and continue to talk about stories that you all are finding the most interesting and bring in our Jamison Moyer, Fox 5's digital content creator. She's going to tell us what's trending here on Fox Local and our website, fox5atlanta.com. Jamison, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Jasmine, thanks for having me. Let's dive into what is trending on the website. So our first story today is going to be a traveler tip. If you use medical marijuana and plan to travel, the TSA has updated its guidance on bringing cannabis through airport security. That's right. The new guidance says patients who use cannabis for conditions like chronic pain, anxiety, or nausea may be able to travel with their medication, but experts say it's best to wait until you reach your destination before using it. Experts warn that consuming cannabis during a flight can be risky. Smoking and vaping are prohibited, and edibles may affect people differently at high altitudes. They also say travelers should never try a new cannabis product before flying, since side effects like dizziness, nausea, or anxiety could become worse in the air. And don't assume TSA approval means you're in the clear legally. Cannabis laws vary by state and country. In fact, experts say international travelers should leave cannabis at home altogether and always check local laws before packing. The goal, they say, is continuity of care, not medicating at 35,000 feet.
Okay, some important information here for people who use medical marijuana here. And something that you mentioned, make sure you know the laws and the state or area you're traveling to, because they can be different from here in Georgia. So that is very important. This next story, Jamison, is so sad. This couple went through this, and now they don't even want to adopt dogs anymore.
I know. It's really just, I mean, it just kind of breaks your heart. So a Dallas, Georgia couple is looking for answers after a dog they adopted from a local rescue tested positive for rabies. And even though records show that the dog had been vaccinated, the 2-year-old named Callie was adopted in April and reportedly showed no signs of trouble until about 2 weeks ago, when it suddenly became aggressive and bit one of the owners. The family returned the dog to the rescue, where it was humanely euthanized. Testing later confirmed the animal had rabies, leaving the family and rescue staff stunned. The rescue says the dog had received 2 standard rabies vaccinations, and officials are now trying to determine how the virus slipped through those protections. The bite victim is undergoing a series of rabies treatments, describing the injections as painful but necessary. Meanwhile, the family's 2 other pets have to remain in quarantine for about 4 months as a precaution. Shelter leaders say they're reviewing records and protocols, but maintain that they followed all required procedures when going through the rescue adoption process.
Yeah, Jamison, I'm so curious to know what happened here, because you have the Humane Society saying they did everything by the book, and then, you know, you have this family saying that, you know, their dog tested positive for rabies. So something went wrong here. A very scary situation. This couple now having to go through treatment and keep their other pets isolated. So I know that is a very stressful situation.
Absolutely. We were actually just discussing this earlier, just the process of what happens when an animal gets rabies and what happens if a human possibly gets it. And it's just very frightening, and I'm sure heartbreaking for their family.
Yes, absolutely. And another big story, not surprised that people are clicking on this story on our website. Early voting is underway, and we are watching several races there.
Yes, so early voting started this Saturday. Georgia voters are back to the polls as it gets underway for the state's June 16th runoff election. The biggest race on the ballot for the runoffs is the Republican runoff for governor. No GOP candidate earned more than 50% in the primary, so Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and businessman Rick Jackson are now facing off for the nomination. The winner will move on to the November general election, where they'll face Democratic nominee Keisha Lance Bottoms, who is also the former Atlanta mayor. Republican voters also have a key U.S. Senate runoff to decide. Former football coach Derek Dooley and Congressman Mike Collins are competing for the chance to challenge incumbent Democratic Senator John Ossoff this fall. Early voting will run through June 12th, giving voters several days to cast their ballots before runoff election day. And don't forget that the runoff election itself is set for June 16th. Election officials are encouraging voters to check polling locations and make a plan before heading out to cast their ballots.
Yes, and something important to note here is that even if you didn't vote in May, on May 19th for the primary, you can still vote in this runoff. So head out to the polls and cast your ballot.
Absolutely. I know there's a few key races for our local elections as well in Fulton County. You know, you've got the Fulton County Commissioner Chair runoff race. That's between incumbent Rob Pitts and Commissioner Mo Ivory. They both have some interesting endorsements behind them, so it'll just be interesting to watch and see how everything plays out.
Yes, that's right. Jameson, thanks so much for joining us to talk about what's trending on Fox Local and Fox5Atlanta.com. We'll let you get back to work there. And guys, let's talk about the story from our Paul Milliken. So more than a dozen locally owned businesses have moved into downtown Atlanta storefronts just in time for World Cup celebrations. And it's all part of this effort called the Downtown Pop-Up Opportunity Fund. Fox 5 Paul Milliken has more.
Well, look, I was already excited about the World Cup and soccer fever here in Atlanta, but when I saw soccer balls on donuts, oh, that sold me. Now I'm very excited. So we're at Dough in the Box Donuts, a brand new location in South Downtown, and we are steps, and I mean that, steps away from Atlanta Stadium. So, Danya, I have a question. Are you ready for the World Cup to take over Atlanta?
As ready as I can be.
That's right. Yes. That's the answer we were looking for. Congratulations on this new spot. So you were able to secure this really prime real estate through the Downtown Pop-Up Opportunity Fund. How helpful has that been to you and your business?
Well, it's an opportunity, a great opportunity for small businesses. We're a mom and pop shop.
Right.
You know, our kids grew up working in the shop. Yeah. You know, neighbors worked in the shop. So that gave us the opportunity to be able to be in this side, which we never imagined. It's like a blessing.
Yeah. Yes. And again, to be right by the stadium too. It's going to be exciting to be in the middle of all the action. So let's talk about Dough in the Box. What's the origin story? How did this place come to be?
In 2010, I started working with my husband in the donut shop and decided I was going to do it for a year, part from my profession for a bit, and I fell in love with the donuts. So we started growing. We opened our first location is in Marietta on Austell Road, 2003. Then 2017, we opened downtown Austell, that is growing as well, and then Fulton Industrial in 2020.
And now South Downtown. So this particular program, the idea is that at least temporarily you have a storefront, but you're hoping maybe this will be longer than temporary, right?
Yes. The community is amazing, and then the opportunity goes, yes, we'll be here. Open at 6 in the morning in the shop.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear. Well, let's talk about some donuts in here. What are some of the top sellers at Dough in the Box?
So we have sour cream, of course, the cronut, our apple fritter, our filled donuts are amazing. Maple bacon.
Oh, yeah, the maple bacon looks amazing. But I do want to mention the Italian cannoli one, because that's like an award-winning donut, right?
Yes, we entered a competition 7-8 years ago, a national competition, so a good donut with a good cannoli cream, honoring my Italian heritage.
Yes, I love that. And then right below that is one of the ones we've been talking about, and I want to say it gets the Paul Milliken seal of approval. The Nacho Holes donuts, those are so good, Tanya.
Yes, it's surprising. The sweet of the donut hole glazed with the cheddar cheese and the jalapeno on top, it gives you that pop.
Yeah, so good. Okay, well, we showed on the top there, you've got like the USA donut, you've got a soccer ball donut, and as the World Cup goes on, the plan is that you'll have more World Cup themed donuts, right?
Yes, we have planned to do a donut for each team that's competing. So you can take your donut of your favorite team and good luck for the game.
I love that. Well, my favorite team is red velvet and cream cheese. I am team red velvet and cream cheese all the way. And if only I had one in my hand. Well, doesn't that work out well? This is why I love television, people. So here we go. I've got breakfast. What is this for me? Breakfast number 3 or 4 at this point?
That's okay.
You know what? Yeah, we don't. You know, we're not going to judge. We don't judge around here. Again, this is Doe in the Box, steps away from Atlanta Stadium, and I just scored a goal.
Oh my gosh, I don't know about you, but I am so hungry after seeing that. The red velvet, sour cream donuts, all of those looked amazing. So definitely support your local businesses, small businesses at that, during World Cup week and beyond. Time right now is 1:50. When we return, we'll talk about our fur friends, our fur babies, and how they form long-lasting bonds. Welcome back. Today is a National Best Friend Day. If you didn't know, celebrate your best friends out there. But it turns out dogs have best friends as well. Our Eli Jordan joins us live from Dogtopia in Tyrone with how dogs form real emotional bonds. And Eli, I've enjoyed seeing all the puppies in your live shots.
Cleaning Max.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Go ahead and cut to the chase right now. You want your doggies to be happy when you drop them off. And you want to drop them off for a place where it's conducive for them to make friends. They don't want to be, small dogs don't need to be put into dogs that have, into runs that have dogs, big dogs, and bully them around, or vice versa, and all that good stuff. And these dogs are all friends. And I am with Lynn Workman. I almost called you Lily.
That's my dog's name.
But you're the owner of Dogtopia, so tell me, how does Dogtopia do things different?
Well, we really look at the whole dog, so we're interested, and Daisy, in their socialization, their health, their wellness. It's not just about having a place for your dog to, hang out while you're traveling. It's a place for your dog to get enrichment, to be, to meet friends, to have socialization. And then they're with us for daycare, and then when you do travel, then there's a really safe, awesome place that they're comfortable and happy and healthy and taken care care of.
And so tell me, what should dog owners be looking for when they, choose a doggy daycare, dog boarding, spa, and things like that?
I mean, I recommend that you don't just call, you don't just look at the website, but that you're actually visiting, that you're checking out the spaces that your dog is going to be in, that you're talking to the staff and understanding what their day is going to be like, and that you're comfortable.
Should owners expect, I've seen some friends, they put their doggy in a daycare, they get photos throughout the day and, an Instagram post. I mean, should owners expect that as a normal nowadays?
I do. I think being able to see their dogs on camera is one of the biggest things. You want a place that is going to give you access to actually see what your dog is doing all day. And then, we have lots of events where we do photos. I mean, you don't see every dog every day, but I think that it is an expectation that you're involved in your dog's, involved in your dog's day, and that you know what to expect and what they're doing all day, and that they're safe and happy.
So, I mean, our dogs miss us while they're away from us, right? I mean, I
absolutely.
Think so. So, I mean, what are some signs when you get your doggy home that your dog is happy, or maybe he's not in a happy place? What are some things you should watch out for? Yeah,
well, dogs that are being really destructive, that they're barking all the time, that they're hurting themselves, hurting your stuff, means they might need a little extra, right? They need some extra stimulation. And if every time you have guests come over, if your dog is really anxious and uncomfortable, they probably need to get out in the world more and get some new experiences so that they can be, calmer, happier, more relaxed, and you're more comfortable having people over at your house.
I like this doggy right here.
It's Max. These are Max and Daisy, and they are absolutely.
Valkyrie, too. Valkyrie's going to be a super smart shepherd.
And these dogs all know each other and love each other and are so excited when they come in here every day to see each other. These are all daycare dogs.
Awesome. Well, Lynn Ortman, thank you very much for chatting with me here at Dogtopia in Tyrone, Georgia. It's National Best Friends Day. Your doggy is your best friend. Make sure you send them to a really good place when you put them in daycare or overnight boarding. I'll send it back to you, Jasmine.
Well, Eli, thanks so much for showing us this sweet story. We love to see these dogs.
Why is it
all right, guys, time is 1:56. Thank you for joining our live stream this afternoon. Our news continues at 2.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being here on your Monday afternoon. We've got a lot of news to get to. Want to talk about hotel and Airbnb bookings for the FIFA World Cup and what people are seeing. They're not as many as we expected. Also going to talk about some developing stories regarding safety on MARTA. But let's start with something we're following very closely here in the Fox 5 newsroom, and that is a DeKalb County police officer and a man are in the hospital after a police officer was involved in a shooting this morning. This all happened along North Decatur Road, and investigators say it all started as an investigation into a suspicious man. Fox's Ray Urena has been digging into this one for us. Ray, it's great to see you. What are you learning?
Yeah, right now, Ariel, we just had in the last couple of minutes both DeKalb County Police and GBI just leave this vacant building right here behind me on North Decatur Road. They just left the scene not too long ago after spending hours out here just investigating this officer-involved shooting. A witness that we spoke to says that she heard 3 gunshots at about 8:10 this morning as she was coming into work nearby. And officers say, like you said earlier, Ariel, they were investigating a suspicious man who was at this vacant building. Now, the details the exact details that led up to that officer being stabbed, those are still unclear, but we do know that police are saying that the officer was stabbed once, and that officer in turn fired and shot that suspect. Both of them were taken to the hospital. The suspect right now is in critical condition. That's what they're listed as. The officer is listed as stable, but with a moderate injury. That's how police are describing that officer's injuries. And Fox 5 cameras captured DeKalb County's police chief going into the hospital to check on that officer earlier this morning. And again, we talked to this witness who says that she normally sees a police officer hanging around this building, either parked in front or on the side of this vacant building. Take a look and take a listen to what she said to us not too long ago.
What the heck? And then that's when I told the person I was on the phone, I said, I think I heard 3 shots. And then that's when I came in the building. Because the police came immediately afterwards, so I wasn't concerned that it was coming towards us. I wasn't concerned.
You can imagine just by that soundbite that she was very startled, and it was very out of the ordinary just to hear those gunshots. And she did tell me that she was thinking that those may have been a car backfiring, but she did realize that there was no cars passing by at the time those shots were fired. Now, we do not know the identities of this man that was shot or the officer that was stabbed that are both in the hospital, but as per protocol, Ariel, the GBI has taken over the investigation into this officer-involved shooting.
Ray, thanks so much for letting us know what we are, where we are at so far. GBI is taking the investigation over as is standard in these sorts of situations. And I understand that suspect is critically hurt, and I know you spoke a little bit about them when you were reporting. Any word on how they're doing as of this afternoon?
As of this afternoon, Ariel, that status still remains the same. As far as we know, that suspect is still critical in the hospital.
Okay, Ray, thanks so much for the update. We'll stay tuned to you as you get any new information, and we'll see you again this evening. As we continue here at 2 o'clock on your Monday afternoon, you guys, let's talk about something really heartbreaking. This is a disturbing story in Johns Creek. 2 parents have been found dead in a home after a dispute unfolded in Johns Creek. 3 children inside of the home called 911 for help. One of the kids said their mother and father were fighting and there had been a shooting. Johns Creek police responded to this home on Hillbrook Trace, and the 3 children had already left the house before officers arrived. Inside, they found a 43-year-old woman, Martha Holliday, and a 52-year-old man, Richard Holliday, both dead from gunshot wounds. As of right now, police do believe the man shot his wife before shooting and killing himself. The children were not physically hurt. Family and friends are now caring for them, and police continue to investigate. There's no word on what led up to this, nor on how old each of those children were, but 3 were inside the home. So very heartbreaking situation. Unfolding today, Atlanta City Council plans to hold their public safety meeting. This is a routine meeting that City Council does to go over different items related to safety in the public. However, today there's a big topic on the agenda, and that would be safety as it relates to MARTA. MARTA is going to be a big topic of discussion, especially as we have the FIFA World Cup here upcoming so soon, and because of the recent rash of violence that we have seen on MARTA trains. Police have recently arrested the man wanted for a shooting at the Midtown MARTA station in Douglasville over the weekend. Officers believe Anthony Tyrone Gresham fired shots on a train last Friday evening. MARTA officers were patrolling inside the Midtown MARTA station, and they reported shots fired, and they later found a man who had been shot in his arm and leg. Investigators believe both the victim and the shooter paid their fares to enter the station before heading to separate rail cars. And according to a statement from MARTA police, the two individuals made eye contact across the station, and that's what prompted the suspect to walk to the victim's rail car and fire shots from the southbound platform. Just crazy. I know we saw videos, at least I did, on social media of people who were at this Midtown MARTA station and heard those shots and went fleeing for their lives. Very scary. Police say Gresham then took off after firing those shots, prompting a multi-agency search. The victim involved in this is expected to be okay, but Gresham faces several felony charges, including aggravated assault and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. According to Fulton County jail records, Gresham has an extensive arrest record, including prior charges from MARTA police. In December of 2024, Gresham was booked at the jail on a sexual battery charge from the MARTA Police Department. And additionally, in June 2025, he was booked by the MARTA Police Department for criminal damage to property and public indecency. Gresham was on probation at the time of this shooting at the Midtown MARTA station, and that's according to jail records. So we're going to continue to follow this developing story. Wanted to let you know that the man believed to have been responsible for firing those shots at the Midtown MARTA station has been arrested in Douglasville, but safety on MARTA trains and MARTA stations in general continues to be a big topic of concern, and that is going to be something that leaders talk about at the Atlanta Public Safety meeting this afternoon. Our Angelique Proctor plans to join us in the 3 o'clock hour to talk a little bit more about that meeting. So that is something we'll continue to keep an eye on. Here on TikTok, you guys are already chiming in on this story, and some of you guys are saying that extensive question mark and he was still free. Yes, that is probably something that a lot of community members are going to be asking, given that the suspect did have an extensive arrest record and was had seen a jail time for other instances. At the time, he was on probation, so it seems as though he was not currently in jail for any crimes, but was on probation for them. So something that we're going to continue to take a look at, because we know that this happens often. We see that often. Someone is charged for a crime, and then unfortunately more crimes are committed. So related to MARTA, and as we talk about victims of violence, let's talk about a vigil held for a woman fatally stabbed on a MARTA train. This is Margaret Swan. Her family is absolutely devastated after her loss. They gathered Sunday afternoon to pay her legacy and memory respect after she was killed on a random knife attack on a MARTA train. Community members and family gathered for that vigil to remember the 66-year-old. She died a little over a week ago, and over 100 people joined Swan's family to pay their respects. She was a mother and a grandmother who was violently and randomly stabbed to death in an unprovoked attack. Police have arrested and charged 25-year-old John Elijah Matthews for her murder. Swan's family shared she had been watching her grandchild just before boarding that train. They're feeling immense grief after her death, which you can understand. One woman, Wanisha Peterson, an advocate with the Atlanta People's Campaign, spoke on the collective pain felt by the neighborhood, as well as Swan's daughters, Shanae and Tiara Sams, expressed deep heartbreak, and they have demanded increased security to prevent future violence on transit trains. Take a listen to what they both had to say.
All the tragic things that's been going on in our community, we just feel like we're falling short with our people, and we want to just bring light on everything, all the tragedies that's been going on.
Everybody should be protected and safe, you know, being on public transportation. We all use public transportation from time to time, but we shouldn't be in fear if we're going to make it out or not on the train. But they need to be patrolling the trains like they used to.
My mom was very kind-hearted, brave. She's a phenomenal woman, and she always wanted to help people. She always wanted people to be good. Yesterday, I wanted to just even call her, but I had to remind myself, like, she's not here. So, and then, like, it's been very hard because he's still alive. he's still here, you know, and he's like in protective custody. He's protected. I just don't think it's right for somebody to just prey on somebody that didn't do anything to them.
Absolutely heartbreaking story. We're going to continue to keep you updated as this moves through the court system, and also as Margaret Swan's family continues to demand more accountability and an increased security presence in the wake of her death. Let's switch gears here. We're talking a lot about FIFA. We're talking about safety. One aspect of FIFA has been the increase in hotel bookings, Airbnb bookings expected, given that so many visitors were going to come here to Atlanta and are coming here to Atlanta for these games. The World Cup is just 1 week away, and hotels across Metro Atlanta are not seeing the bookings that they were banking on because of the World Cup. New data from the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau shows the World Cup bump when it comes to reservations hasn't exactly happened yet. In fact, they say hotels have fewer bookings this summer than they did last summer. So let's get out to Fox 5's Rob DeRienzo, who joins us live from Midtown. Rob, it is great to see you. What is availability looking like right now, given that we are so close to the World Cup just starting?
Hey there, Ariel. Well, I was actually looking through on my phone a couple minutes ago. I see there's actually a ton of availability throughout the World Cup in downtown, Midtown, and Buckhead. And the hotel operators and the tourism officials I'm talking to, they say they're trying to stay optimistic, but this isn't really what they were hoping for. Talking about 240,000 hotel rooms in downtown, Midtown, and Buckhead that have been booked for the World Cup. But while that sounds like a lot, you got to put that in perspective. That's 83,000 fewer than last summer when we had a bunch of Beyonce concerts and the MLB All-Star Game were both in town. Now, this is also happening to other host cities across the U.S., with 80% surveyed by the American Hotel and Lodging Association saying reservations are just lacking this summer. Now, earlier today, I headed over to the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau and talked with the president about what exactly they're seeing. Take a listen.
When the World Cup was first announced, there was this expectation that we would be wall-to-wall people every single day for 30 days. And the reality is the booking pace is very similar to a major event. People are coming in a couple of days before the game. We peak on the game day. It drops back down, starts to build again, and that's how the first 5 matches look. Then you get to the back end where we have the knockout rounds and the semifinal, in which case we probably are going to have wall-to-wall people, because you're going to start seeing what I call soccer royalty, people like England and Argentina and Brazil that have these huge international followings, and if they make it into the knockout rounds of the semifinal and they come here, we're going to see very large crowds following them.
So there you have it, Ariel. It's a very wait and see at this point. But again, whatever happens in those final matches, it seems, will dictate what actually happens in terms of commerce and in terms of economic activity around here for the World Cup. But again, this isn't the only city where they're having these lackluster numbers. They're trying to stay optimistic. But at this point, less than a week to go. Let's wait and see. Back to you.
Yeah, Rob, you know, a lot of thoughts go through my brain, and I can understand if someone is spending a lot of money on the World Cup, they might want to see if their team can go further and spend the money when their team is in, say, the semifinals or the finals, as opposed to, and I know here in Atlanta we'll be hosting the semifinals, not fully the final games, but, you know, they might want to wait and see where things shake out. I'm also curious, you know, I think about the war with Iran and the current economic outlook. For people who are ultra wealthy, it probably doesn't affect them much, but, you know, maybe some families that have really saved to be able to have a World Cup experience, tickets aren't exactly cheap.
They're not cheap at all, and that is one thing that was pointed out is, you know, you don't necessarily buy Super Bowl tickets in advance before you know who's in the Super Bowl. Similar dynamic here, where even these well-off, well-to-do people coming from all over the country here to Atlanta, they don't necessarily want to see matches that aren't their teams. And you heard the Visitor and Convention Bureau president there mention those key countries. They're talking Argentina, Brazil, England, those like die-hard, froth-at-the-mouth soccer fans. That's what they're counting on. And again, what happens in those semifinals, I think, will be pretty wait and see in terms of if those crowds, that type of people, will make it here to Atlanta this time around.
Well, Rob, good to know. I know you're going to stay on top of it for us as always. Appreciate you, and we'll see you again this evening as you continue to cover this. So, Rob Durienza, thanks so much. All right, guys, let's continue along here. Some of you still chiming in here on TikTok, YouTube. Always love reading your comments and hear what you have to say. Some are asking for some good news. I see someone saying we'd like some good news, please, and I feel you. We've had some hard stories here for your Monday afternoon. So as we move forward through the 2 o'clock hour, I hope to get in some happy news for you guys. I'm looking at a story from about a grandmother who helped her graduate from college at 72. If we have time, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about her advice because it's really inspirational. And someone else saying, not Beyonce in baseball bringing in more people than FIFA. You know, you're probably not wrong. And we're going to see as this goes on, we are probably going to get many more soccer fans as the games progress. So it's not over yet. We don't have those final estimates yet, but there is no doubt Beyonce definitely brought a lot of people here to our city. Okay, so as we continue here, let's continue with some stories we're following in our newsroom on a national level. I want to talk to you about a festival in Toledo, Ohio, where a shooting unfolded. I know I said I have good news eventually, but we still have some other headlines to get to first. So this is really incredible because 12 people were hurt at this festival. Toledo, Ohio is actually where I first started my job in TV news, so I'm very familiar with this festival. It's the Old West End Festival. It's in a historic part of the city. A lot of people come and attend it every year, and it's something people really look forward to. So this is a really upsetting situation because police are still searching for the suspects who opened fire during this street festival. At least 12 people were hurt in the shooting, and they were bystanders. Police say the suspect shot people as young as 14 years old, and the people who did this are still on the loose. It was supposed to be a fun family event, the Old West End Festival, one of the most joyous in the Toledo community, and it turned to panic as people of all ages started running and scrambling for cover. Many were helping the 12 victims that they saw were hurt, and locals who were there say this type of tragedy can often happen too often. You can't bring your kids out or trust that you're going to be at a safe place. Police are still searching for at least 2 suspects who they believe were probably shooting at each other when all of the bystanders were injured. Investigators are combing through evidence, and one seasoned lieutenant actually said that this is some of the worst violence that he's seen there in Toledo. Officials are urging anyone who was there to come forward with any information that will help the investigation. And as you might imagine, the remainder of this 2-day festival is now canceled. Let's talk about something on a national level as it relates to immigrations and customs enforcement. This is a new report that has come out that ICE will stop reporting deaths of recently released detainees. They are changing a requirement regarding which former detainee deaths it will be required to report. The Washington Post says ICE is eliminating its rule to report detainee deaths that occur within 30 days of their release from custody. A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security confirms this change, saying ICE is, quote, not responsible when an individual passes away weeks after leaving their custody. The original 30-day policy was implemented in 2021 under the Biden administration, and it was set up to hold ICE accountable for detainees released from custody with serious medical conditions. This year, ICE reported the deaths of 18 detainees, while last year there were at least 30 deaths, the highest in 2 decades. According to ICE reports, all of the reported deaths from this year and last year happened while detainees were in ICE custody. Some deaths occurred after detainees were taken to the hospital, but DHS says ICE remains, quote, committed to the transparency regarding detainee deaths with this updated policy. So that is something we'll continue to keep you updated on. But I know a lot of you are curious as to where we stand related to peace with Iran. Will we find peace? What will happen with our gas prices? How do things look? As of right now, Israel and Iran have exchanged fire overnight, and Iran says it's ending its military operations against Israel. The Israeli military continues to target Hezbollah in Lebanon, putting this fragile ceasefire and ongoing peace talks with the United States at risk. But we saw this night of fire between Israel and Iran, and it was the first major break in the ceasefire since April. Iranian missiles lit up the skies, and Israel's defense forces targeted ready to launch missile sites in central Iran. After this quick skirmish, the fighting is apparently on hold for now as President Trump is trying to get peace talks back on track. Iran agreed to call off its attacks, but Israel is still targeting Hezbollah in Lebanon, which is an Iranian proxy group. And this could make the renewed ceasefire short-lived. After demanding an immediate ceasefire, President Trump says final negotiations on peace are proceeding being subject to ignorance or stupidity getting in the way. And we're starting to see this frustration emerge between Israel and the United States, where both countries might have different goals for what the end of this war would look like. Let's take a listen to President Trump's former deputy national security advisor.
We have the same objectives as Israel does, but maybe a different priority. Everybody wants Iran to have no nuclear weapons. We got that. But then after that, Israel's priority is its own security in the region.
So that was KT McFarland, and she was talking a little bit about the differences and potentially end priorities for Israel and the United States. Now, before these fresh attacks overnight, the president told Fox and NBC News that a deal could be signed within days. President Trump also reiterated today that the U.S. blockade on Iran's ports is going to remain in full effect until a deal is reached, basically saying that there is still a negotiating point that the United States has. Also, something we're following is the outbreak with Ebola, because at this point it is getting worse. The Ebola outbreak has intensified, with the number of cases continuing to climb, and health officials around the world and here at home are beefing up containment protocols. They are concerned. Over the weekend, the number of confirmed cases passed 500, almost all in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where strict new protocols are in effect to try to stop the spread. Large gatherings, including religious services, are now restricted, and neighboring countries are ramping up their security and surveillance at the borders, with ambulances, isolation centers, and mobile labs on standby to test for new infections. Containment will not be easy. Some hospitals are reporting patients are escaping during their treatment, possibly infecting others in their own communities. Africa's CDC and the World Health Organization announced a joint continental response plan asking for over $500 million. That number could go up. Meanwhile, some health experts are criticizing the Trump administration's response to the outbreak, saying the U.S. should be more involved in trying to prevent outbreaks on a global scale. The CDC says this outbreak could become one of the largest Ebola outbreaks ever documented. And we know that they're working on a vaccine for this variant of the Ebola virus, which is why this has been so rampant. There is no vaccine for this variant, but as of now, we do not have that. So we'll continue to keep you updated. Coming up next, I'd like to get a check of your weather forecast with meteorologist Alex Forbes. We're going to talk a little bit about some storms that could be rolling into the area and some other factors that could affect your evening commute here in North Georgia. So stay tuned. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being with us here on your Monday afternoon. Let's get to a series of stories that we're following here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom, starting with why you don't drink and drive. Wrong way driving is the cause of multiple crashes on I-85. And this wrong way driver, suspected of being under the influence of alcohol, caused a chaotic chain reaction of crashes on the interstate. This was 85 southbound near Virginia Avenue early Sunday morning. 2 people were hospitalized after head-on collisions, and state troopers rushed to this wreck on I-85 southbound near Virginia Avenue and found that a Dodge Durango was traveling north in a southbound lane of the interstate when it was struck by another vehicle. The violent impact left the driver of the other car with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The initial head-on collision then sparked a dangerous chain reaction with several other southbound vehicles crashing into each other as drivers desperately tried to avoid hitting that oncoming Dodge Durango that was going the wrong way. Troopers do believe alcohol impairment played a role in that initial wreck, and the driver of the Durango is going to face multiple criminal charges, including DUI, driving on the wrong side of the road, and serious injury. So that is something that we're going to continue to follow. Glad that no one else was seriously hurt or killed, because it could have been much, much worse. Let's bring you back out here to set. I'm going to zoom out the camera. We have meteorologist Alex Forbes here at the streaming desk. And Alex, I understand you're tracking some developing news right before you came out here.
So this is a first for me. We have had an earthquake in the Gulf, just off the coast of Cuba, and it wasn't exactly small. A magnitude 6.1 hit in the last 20 minutes.
That's sizable.
It is. So I've got the map here on graphic 7. This is going to be just off the coast. It's a little closer to Cancun than Key West. It's about 162 miles northeast of Cancun, just about 250 miles away from Key West. Now, all of this has happened literally in the last 26 minutes. So obviously Cuba and the type of government they have there, not getting the fastest information from that area. But I have seen already a video on Twitter or X from Cancun. Definitely felt the shaking there, but I'd be curious if anybody watching on Instagram, TikTok, if you're down in Key West, maybe even just southern Florida in general, if you had felt this. It does look like Mexico did as well. So that was right there at the top of the hour. We're obviously way too far away here in Atlanta, but to have an earthquake of this size, this magnitude in this region of the world is relatively rare. So that's...
this is obviously quite far away, but the Philippines just experienced a pretty sizable earthquake as well. So it's interesting. We're seeing some of this increased seismic activity.
Right. And it's impossible to say whether the two are related. Given the distance, they're likely not, but it's the same Earth, right? So there is at least one common variable there. And again, so that was at 2 o'clock today. But since I'm here, we've got another developing situation that we need to talk about, and that is our own weather here at home, because we've got a serious flash flooding risk, I think, beginning to take hold in that's going to be parts of western Cobb, eastern Paulding, and in Douglas counties. Now, you're looking at the radar, you see some lightning strikes. It doesn't look too crazy, but what's jumping out at me are numbers like I'm about to put on the screen here. Considering that this storm is moving over the same areas multiple times, whenever you get high rainfall rates, that can lead to flash flooding. Now, if it rained at this intensity just north of Powder Springs for an hour, that would be 6.4 inches of rain. If you look into Fulton County, 5.2, 4.8, right? So you're getting some really high rainfall totals. And in these same spots, if I turn on the 3-hour rainfall, we have already picked up almost an inch of rain in many locations. There's right along Highway 120, over almost 2 inches there in West Cobb. That has fallen. Parts of eastern Paulding, you're looking at 1.4. And parts of Douglas County, not too far away from Sweetwater Creek, already an inch of rain on the ground. So that's the situation here. And if I put the loop on this, what you're going to notice is it's moving, but it's not moving very quickly, which means you're getting that same rainfall rate over the same spots for an extended period of time. You're also looking at the time up there at the top of your screen thinking, all right, time to head home from work in the next hour. That is going to move over Metro Atlanta in the next hour, hour and a half. So that is headed in our direction.
So while we're going home from work today, we could have those windshield wipers all the way up on high, this could affect us as we're driving.
And it's not just regular rain, right? I just turned on the lightning. You're looking at some pretty good storms rolling into the metro area as we speak. So, I know we've got all of our field crews out there in the metro area. This is going to be moving into the next 45 minutes to an hour.
And it seems like it's more the western part of our metro that is going to see this heavier downpour.
Well, at least at the moment, yes, but it's moving to the east, right? Good point. I think when I check in with Tom here at 3, maybe that's like, at North Side Drive in Buckhead.
Yes.
I know it's not to Tucker yet, but maybe when we start Fox 5 News at 4, it's to Tucker, Stone Mountain, Snellville, in that general direction. Again, not a severe storm, but just some heavy rainfall that could have some intense downpours and flash flooding risk.
Well, it is the time of year for it. Alex, thanks so much for keeping us updated. I know we'll see you again here upcoming at 3, so thank you. Guys, let's continue on with some stories that we're following. I do want to let you know that early voting is underway currently for the June 16th runoff. Republicans will get to decide nominees for the governor and the U.S. Senate, and the winners will advance to the November general election. That is the most closely watched contest, is the Republican primary runoff for governor. Former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms has already secured the Democratic nomination, so she will head to the ballot in November. No Republican candidate received more than 50% of the vote, hence why they are in this runoff. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and businessman Rick Jackson are those two that you'll see on your ballot for the Republican primary. Republican voters will also choose a nominee for the U.S. Senate race. Derek Dooley and U.S. Representative Mike Collins are competing for the chance to challenge Democratic incumbent John Ossoff in that general election. So early voting continues through June 12th, and election day for the runoff races is June 16th. So that is something to keep in mind. Let's talk about medical marijuana and the Transportation Security Administration, because the TSA has updated its guidance on traveling with medical marijuana, adding new information to its What Can I Bring directory for both carry-on and checked luggage. The revised guidance allows patients who use cannabis to treat conditions like chronic pain, anxiety, nausea, and other qualifying medical issues to travel with their medication for use once they reach their destination. Experts do recommend that you separate your treatment routine from the travel experience itself, waiting until you arrive before consuming any cannabis. But basically, you are now allowed to travel with medical marijuana. That used to not be allowed, and you should understand local and international cannabis laws before flying. If you were to travel internationally, keep in mind TSA only applies when you're here in America. A new order signed by President Trump's acting Attorney General Todd Blanche will make state licensed medical marijuana a less dangerous drug at the federal level. So this is something we're going to continue to monitor as this moves forward. But I'm looking through your comments here on TikTok. Some of you are asking about rain and what is happening. Angelica says, not me driving directly into the storm. I feel for you, Angelica. It is going to be heavy rain for a bit, but depending on where you're at, you could see a different effect. You're taking a live look outside right now here at Midtown. Alex is going to join us again here upcoming at 3 to talk a little bit more about the weather and where this is headed. Someone's asking how long it's going to rain for in Smyrna. No timing on exact how long it's going to rain for necessarily. Alex can talk more about that upcoming here at 3, but do keep in mind some of these storms, depending where you're at, will roll in very quickly. You're going to get a lot of heavy rain, very intense lightning risk all at once, and then it's going to move on. It is west right now, but moving more east across our metro area. So that's the trajectory. If you are in that east-west corridor, if you live on the west right now, you might start to get some of that rain, and then as it moves more toward the east, you could see rain a little bit later into the afternoon and evening. Let's continue with a story that police are asking for your help on. This involves a store clerk or store employee who was shot in the face with a BB gun. Police are wanting you to take a look at this surveillance video to see if you recognize 4 individuals tied to this incident back on May 21st. An employee was shot in the face with a pellet or a BB gun during a robbery. And police at this point believe that those 4 thieves tried to rob a store and they shot an employee with that pellet or BB gun during during the night of May 21st. This happened at a business on Cleveland Avenue here in Atlanta, and they released this surveillance video showing those individuals inside the store. As the group was leaving, they say an employee confronted them, and that is when they say one of those 4 individuals shot the employee in the face with that BB or pellet gun. The employee later confirmed to officers what had happened when they arrived on scene. If you have any information, call Atlanta Police or Crime Stoppers. So just keep that in mind if you have information. Some of you are asking about a story I just talked about regarding the medical cannabis ruling, and Angel's asking, why are people jailed for cannabis if you're going to allow people to travel with it? So the big distinction here is medical cannabis. So it's not for recreational use. If you have a medical cannabis card, you are now able to travel with it here domestically at the federal level. The TSA just updated their medical marijuana travel guidance, and you can go onto the TSA's website to see what they recommend for that. It is under their What Can I Bring directory when it comes to knowing what you can bring on your flights. But as long as you have a card delineating that you are an approved medical marijuana user and that you are able to buy it for medical purposes, then you can travel with it. So that is why they are saying now. But I do understand your point in asking why people might be jailed if others are allowed to bring it for medical purposes. As we continue on, Amanda's asking, yes, they're allowing medical marijuana. Yes, TSA is now allowing medical marijuana on flights. So looking ahead, you guys, coming up next, I'm going to talk about a story that's really crazy. Our Annie Mapp, hopefully she'll have time to join us. A Navy veteran, 21-year-old U.S. Navy veteran, was trying to sell an item on Facebook Marketplace when she was brutally attacked. We're going to talk to Annie about this. There's a GoFundMe that's been set up, and they're trying to support this woman who went through this horrible endeavor or horrible encounter when she was trying to sell her watch. So we're going to talk about it upcoming. Annie was interviewing her here earlier this afternoon, so hoping we'll be able to get Annie in. Also going to talk with our Chris Rosenthal about the Atlanta Hawks expanding their flight crew. They're adding skaters and they're holding open auditions. So all of this and more straight ahead. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. While we were in break, I just got information that Fort Stewart here in Georgia is currently on lockdown. We don't know why that is. Not sure what is unfolding, but at this point, Fort Stewart is on lockdown, and we're working to gather more information. WTOC 11 is reporting that the commander issued a lockdown this afternoon and telling commanders to lock their facility immediately, stay inside, close and lock all windows and doors, and to keep telephone lines open. So not sure what is going on or that situation, but we will keep you updated as we get more information. In the meantime, I do want to let you know that police have released new video of a sale that turned violent. We were talking about this story here last week where a puppy sale turned violent. A woman was robbed and shot at with her 4-year-old child in the backseat of the car. Well, now Atlanta police are looking for the man accused of robbing this woman and firing multiple shots at her during what was supposed to be a simple transaction where a puppy was being sold. You can see from the surveillance video that they just released, it shows the man they're looking for. He's holding that gun. And investigators say the incident happened June 3rd near the entrance of a park on Joseph E. Boone Boulevard. According to police, the victim arranged to meet a man selling a puppy. She was sitting inside her vehicle with a child in the back seat when she met the seller. And officers say the woman was holding the puppy and preparing to buy it when another man suddenly approached, grabbed the dog, and ran away. Police say the seller then got angry, pulled out a gun, and fired multiple rounds into the victim's vehicle. The woman and her child were inside the car when that gunfire erupted, but neither was hit. After the shooting, police say the suspect took the woman's purse and fled the area in a white vehicle. Officers recovered multiple shell casings from the scene, and they're asking for your help, the public, to identify the man seen on that surveillance video. The video shows the suspect exiting a white car with an assault-style rifle before returning to the vehicle carrying the victim's purse. This investigation is still ongoing. So wanted to bring that to your attention. Pretty wild story, and thank goodness no one was truly hurt. So you guys have asked for some happy news, so I'm going to deliver, okay? If you consider yourself athletic in any way, maybe talented in any way when it comes to roller skating, rollerblading, maybe you could end up on the Atlanta Hawks flight crew. Who knows? Chris Rosenthal joins us live as the Atlanta Hawks are creating their first ever skate team as a part of the flight crew. And Chris, we understand the flight crew for the Atlanta Hawks, part of the in-game entertainment. They keep the energy going. They're a lot of fun to watch. And now it seems they're adding this new team to, you know, just take things to the next level.
Absolutely, yeah. They're adding roller skaters here to the team, which of course means they need to try them out and audition them. And so there's nothing more Atlanta than Cascade Skating Rink, which is where they're having these auditions. And they have about 45 people here today auditioning. They'll whittle it down to about 10 finalists and then eventually down to 4 people to be on this team. I think they're about to do a small breakout group here. Let's give a little watch here. They're working on their choreography here all day, and they're doing these little breakout groups, and then they'll be doing some freestyle here. Solomon over here in the gray sweatshirt, he is actually doing the choreography and been coaching them along here, and he'll be working with the teams here. And I got one of the contestants here. I got Davion. Hey, how's it going? Tell me, why are you trying out for this here?
Why am I trying out? Because they need energy. See, I'm a little content creator myself, and that's all I do. Like, I'm a very energetic, chaotic, but skilled skater. So I thought I'd come out here, show some talents, and hopefully I get it.
Are you excited about the possibility of getting in front of crowds at the basketball games?
Oh, most definitely. I've been wanting to do that since I was a kid. Maybe like yay high. I've been skating since I was like 9. I took it professionally at 19. And Solo's the one that taught me all the things I know and other skaters. So But yeah, I'm very confident and very happy about it.
Well, we wish you luck, and we'll watch them here just a little bit more. And, again, we got the big group here waiting. They're waiting to get up there and get their turn. But they have been practicing their moves. They've been choreographing here. All these hopeful, again, I guess eventually will be whittled down to about four skaters to join this team. The first time they've had roller skaters on the flight crew here. These are the judges, by the way, over here watching and judging, watching their moves. I think they're pretty happy with what they see so far. So, and it's been fun to watch them. Some people are doing really well with it. I've seen a few people get a little tired out. So I'll be here for a while, and maybe I'll get to see who gets to move on to the next round.
I have to say, this is pretty incredible. If I were to try half of this, you would not see me back here tomorrow. I'd have a broken arm, a busted knee. You've got to be flexible and stuff to do this. And this is cool. They're going to bring the energy at Atlanta Hawks games. I'm excited for the expansion of entertainment. So shout out to Atlanta's skate community, because this is pretty neat to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think my rollerblading days are over when it comes to trying this kind of stuff here. But man, it's fun to watch them. I mean, all these contestants here, they got tons of energy, and just like you heard Davion, I mean, they're all excited.
They're ready
and want it. So.
Perfect. Well, Chris, we will see you upcoming here at 3 o'clock, and I know that they're whittling it down for the performers that they're ultimately going to select. So we'll see you again here upcoming at 3. And you guys, as we continue here at 2, I want to get to some stories as it relates to artificial intelligence, because Congress is really trying to harness AI before it harnesses us, so to speak. And there's a lot of reasons for this. Congress is wrestling with AI because there's a push to establish better guardrails. I know a lot of you have expressed that you're scared about what AI could do, given that we may not fully understand it. President Trump recently signed an executive order seeking oversight of AI models, but the question is, can Congress get there before AI does? They're trying to control it before it controls us, and there's a fear that AI could tap into our personal information and boomerang it against us, especially the idea that your data could be weaponized against you for political purposes. I mean, it's a scary thought. Bipartisan lawmakers just released a proposal to force AI developers to disclose risks and include safety plans in their AI models that they develop, so like ChatGPT, Claude, etc. Massachusetts Democrat Lori Trahan says that we're kind of flying blind right now, and she says we've seen this playbook before with big tech and social media, and she doesn't want to stand by and watch it happen again. So she's working on an AI plan with California Republican Jay Obernolte, and he says no one wants to be responsible for a product that is used maliciously to harm people. So that's why Democrats and Republicans do have the same goal here in a sense. But it's a sprint against time, because Chinese models could become the default foundation of the global digital economy, carrying embedded censorship, uncertainty, and security capabilities distilled without the proper guardrails. So that's the concern, right? We're kind of in this AI race where the AI models that are developed now will set the foundation for future growth and future AI models to come. So the key is which country's AI models will become dominant worldwide. And right now, the United States is hoping its models make it out of this race with China. They're also hoping that they make it out because they are concerned about security risk with Chinese AI models. But where that's headed, we don't know just yet. And House Speaker Mike Johnson wants to advance an AI bill this year. She says that everybody agrees Congress needs to step in and figure this equation out. And they're trying to get something done here in this congressional session. They did fail to pass a different AI bill 2 years ago, and there's been some skepticism that lawmakers can even act. Well, as we continue, let's talk about Apple unveiling a new AI strategy at a conference today. They're they're going to be at the Worldwide Developers Conference in California, where Apple plans to unveil a new AI strategy 2 years after the first major rollout did not go as expected. The company is also poised to introduce a new version of its digital assistant Siri, along with several other AI capabilities. Take a listen to a research CEO talking a little bit about what could be coming.
It's all eyes on Siri, all eyes on AI. This is Tim Cook's last WWDC before John Ternus takes over. And people are looking for whether Siri and how they're working with Google Gemini are going to take off. So what does it mean? Is it the multi-step functionality where you can write an email, check weather, buy something, program that into what's happening on the devices? Is it going to be more? There's a lot of rumors as to what's going to happen. And we're going to find out if it's really, the next big thing for Siri. It's the next advancement that's happening. And of course, people are hoping to see other advancements. This is a developer conference. That's where developers get a sneak peek about what's going to happen next before their September event, where they typically unveil the hardware.
So Apple could announce a split screen feature on its iPhones. There's a buzz about an Apple foldable device coming later this year. I know my Android users out there, you guys are rolling your eyes and saying, guess what? I already got it. Well, listen, the Apple users who might be a little slower to catch up, this is something they could be looking forward to. So that is something that we're going to continue to monitor. I see someone here in chat saying that Gemini is really what you use, and it's going to be running Siri. Going to be interesting to see how that moves forward. I have heard a lot of you say that you don't really use Siri in this capacity just because you feel like other models are better. So let's talk about some other news here upcoming, taking a look at our timing. As we continue, we want to get to this story here about Meta rolling out paid IG subscriptions. This is pretty incredible. So Meta is actually going to launch a paid subscription for Instagram, and it's aiming to customize the user experience. And the goal here really is with Instagram Plus that you will be able to have stories that last for 48 hours instead of just 24. You'll be able to create multiple different audience lists for stories, and subscribers can also see how many times their story was rewatched. They can also search if a specific user viewed their story and preview other stories. So the goal with this paid Meta Instagram subscription is really customization. There will also be a story spotlight feature which prioritizes a user's story on their followers' feeds. But that I don't love because, hey, what if you don't really care for someone's stories and they pay to be first up on your feed? I don't know. Questions, I have them. Meta says Instagram Plus users will also be able to post directly to their profile or highlights without appearing in followers' feeds. And other features include pinning up to 6 posts to your profile, customizable fonts for profile bios. It will cost about $4 for a monthly subscription. And Meta says it's going to be adding more features in the coming months. So curious if you would pay for Instagram. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, we have more news to come. Stay tuned. See Annie. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstott. Let's talk about this developing story. Really scary. A 21-year-old Navy veteran, a woman, was trying to sell a watch on Facebook Marketplace when she was brutally attacked, according to a GoFundMe that was set up to support her. So let's get out to Fox's Annie Mapp. Annie, I understand you just wrapped up an interview. What have you learned about this?
Yes, a very scary situation, Ariel. We just spoke to that veteran. She's actually getting ready to head to a doctor's appointment at Grady. She was shot last Wednesday while trying to sell a watch through Facebook Marketplace. She says she had been speaking to this person who was trying to buy it for several days and ended up agreeing to go to his home at 9 o'clock last Wednesday night to meet with him to try to make that sale. This is a watch that she admits is a fake watch, but it is valued. She says that $1,200 is what the guy had agreed to pay. She says she shows up and the guy approaches her car. She doesn't even have the window all the way down, but he comes up to the vehicle with the mask, and he also has a weapon, and he ends up telling her that if she doesn't pass the watch over, he's going to shoot and kill her. And he did end up shooting her. Thankfully, she was able to hit the gas and get away before more damage happened, but she ended up hitting 3 vehicles while doing so, and of course then ended up going to the hospital where she stayed a few days. She has some serious injuries. Thankfully, though, she was able to survive and be able to tell this story. We will be sharing more on the impact and on the lesson that she has now learned and is preaching to others following what happened. Ariel.
Annie, a horrible, horrible situation. I'm so glad she's okay. We'll stay tuned to you. I know you're going to join us later this evening for more on this story, and understandably, I know police always say meet in maybe one of their designated Facebook Marketplace seller lots, so that way they can monitor, and you're near a police station just helps to deter anything seedy. So Annie Mapp, thank you. I appreciate you. I'll let you get back to information gathering. Guys, really quickly, with the time that we have, I want to make sure that we're able to fit in Eli Jordan here really quickly. Some of you have asked for some happy news, so let's leave you this Monday afternoon on your 2 o'clock hour with some dog love. Eli joins us, and Eli, I understand you're taking a look at how dogs form social bonds with each other.
Oh, yes, I am. And, it's more than just, going around sniffing rear ends and stuff. It's them hanging out, seeing each other, and seeing if they have a good chemistry, face to face. And that's what they do here at Dogtopia in Tyrone. And I'm going to go ahead and get us to the doggies here. And here they are. We got a whole mess of them. And I'm with Lynn Ortman, who is the owner of Dogtopia. Lynn, real quick, just tell me the importance of finding a good boarding daycare spot for your doggie and why.
Yeah, you want your dog to be healthy and happy and well socialized and to live longer. That's really what it's all about, right? Is giving your dog their absolute best life, so they can, you can spend an extra few years with them, because dogs bring so much to our lives.
So what should people be looking for when they're choosing a new daycare or spa or boarding, overnight boarding?
Yeah, I think it's really important that you go and visit. Don't just look online and look at a really great website, but actually that you're visiting, you're seeing where your dog is going to be playing, who the staff are. You want your staff to be trained in canine behavior and canine health. You want to make sure that the people that are taking care of your dogs really care about their overall health and well-being.
So photo updates throughout the day, should that be a common expectancy now with dog owners and boarding places and whatnot?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. There are some places that'll dump 1,000 photos. I don't know that that's the most important thing, especially if they have cameras. You really want to send your dog to a place that gives you visibility into what their dog is doing all day. And I think the best way to do that is to have cameras around so that you can see them.
Awesome. Well, Lynn Ortman, we're going to cut it a little bit short because we had some breaking news. But
Absolutely.
Thank you for Lynn Ortman, owner of Dogtopia here in Tyrone, and we were just hanging out with these dogs. We'll be here next hour, Ariel, and bring some more happy, good news and good-looking doggies like Max here. Max is wanting to go back inside and play. He's tired of being on TV. He's been on TV twice, and I've been harassing him. And this is Valkyrie. Valkyrie's is a Dutch Shepherd, and I'm just in love with Valkyrie, too.
She's a good girl.
But, they're all good doggies here. You're all good doggies. Yeah.
Eli,
and,
thank
we'll be back
you.
here in the 3 o'clock hour.
Perfect. Can't wait to see it again, Eli. These are some really good-looking dogs, and I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Thanks for hanging out with us at 2. Okay, guys, thanks for being here. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Tom is sitting literally beside me waiting to come on for 3. We've got more news headed your way and the latest on your weather. I know some of you were asking about what it's going to look like in your area with these storms rolling in for your evening commute. That's ahead.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haynes, here for the next hour, bringing you up to date on all the stories making news on this Monday afternoon. And there is a lot to get to today. If you look outside, you can see the dark skies out there. Showers and thunderstorms are moving into the area. Let's take a live look outside if we could, at either downtown Atlanta or over the Bends, wherever we're going. And you can see what we're talking about here. The clouds are rolling in as we speak from west to east. Meteorologist Alex Forbes is tracking our forecast. He's going to be along in just a couple of minutes to tell us how long this rain is going to last and looking into the head into the rest of the work week's forecast. Want to get to a breaking story right now, and that is reports of a 6.1 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Florida, right in between Cuba and Florida. You can see right really off the tip of Cuba in the Gulf of Mexico, about 105 miles south of Florida, or Key West, I should say. This strong earthquake struck. Parts of Florida likely felt it if you're in the Florida Keys. According to reports, the 6.1 magnitude quake hit right off the coast of southern Cuba. The U.S. Geological Survey says that that earthquake occurred at a relatively shallow depth, which can make shaking more noticeable across a wider area. Some people in South Florida reported feeling the ground shake, though there were no immediate reports of any damage or injuries to parts of the Florida Keys in South Florida, Miami, Naples, all of the places, the Florida Everglades, which might have felt the effects of this earthquake. Officials also say there are no tsunami threats associated with the quake right now. Cuba sits right along, just to give you some geographical information here, a seismically active fault zone in the Caribbean where earthquakes of this size are not uncommon. Now, I talked about meteorologist Alex Forbes. He's also been watching this from the Fox 5 Storm Center, gathering the metrics of exactly what happened here and the impact to the surrounding area. Alex will be around here in just a couple of minutes to talk more about exactly what happened. Also off the top here, we have new developments in that story that broke this morning. A DeKalb County police officer recovering this afternoon after being stabbed this morning on North Decatur Road. Reporter Ray Urena has been covering this story all day long for us and is here now with more.
This afternoon, still an active DeKalb County and GBI presence at this vacant building along North Decatur Road. This is exactly what we're looking at this afternoon. You can see that GBI investigators are in the parking lot of this vacant building, and you can see that there are several evidence markers leading up to the door of this vacant building. And this is near DeKalb Industrial Way next to a public storage, and details are limited from investigators right now. But police say officers were investigating a suspicious man this morning, and during the encounter, investigators say that the man stabbed the officer once. Police say the officer then pulled out their weapon and shot the man. Investigators say the man is now in critical condition, while the officer is listed as stable with what police describe as a moderate injury. Fox 5 cameras captured DeKalb County's police chief walking into Grady Memorial Hospital to check on that officer. A witness says she was on the phone at about 8:10 this morning when she heard the shots. She says there is normally a police officer who is parked at this vacant building.
It was loud enough for me to distinguish that it was a shot and not a car backfiring. So I looked to see if there was a car. There was no cars passing, and it was 3 shots.
As is protocol, the GBI has taken over the investigation into this officer-involved shooting. We're trying to learn more from authorities, and we'll have more coming up on Fox 5 News at 4. For now, reporting in DeKalb County, I'm Ray Urena.
All right, Ray, thanks so much. Also in the news here at 3 o'clock, police are investigating what appears to be a murder-suicide inside a home in DeKalb County. Now, officers were called to a house on North Hillbrook Trace just after 11 Sunday night for a reported domestic disturbance. When they arrived, investigators say that a juvenile told them a verbal argument between his parents had escalated into gunfire. Officers entered the home and found 2 people dead. Police identified them as 52-year-old Richard Holliday and 43-year-old Martha Holliday. According to investigators, preliminary evidence indicates Martha Holliday died from a gunshot wound to the head. Detectives say Richard Holliday also suffered a gunshot wound to the head that appears to have been self-inflicted. While the investigation remains in its early stages, detectives believe Richard Holliday shot and killed his wife before taking his own life. Authorities say the couple's children are safe and have been accounted for. Investigators also say they believe this was an isolated domestic incident and there's no ongoing threat to the public. However, the investigation remains active at this time. Atlanta police are looking for a man accused of robbing a woman and then firing multiple shots at her during what was supposed to be a simple puppy purchase. This is surveillance video of what happened here that Atlanta police just released to the man that they are looking for. Take a look. Investigators say the incident happened June the 3rd near the entrance of a park on Joseph E. Boone Boulevard. According to police, the victim arranged to meet a man selling a puppy. She was sitting inside her vehicle with her child in the back seat when she met the seller. Officers say that woman was holding the puppy and prepared to buy it when another man suddenly approached, grabbing the dog, and then ran away. Police say that that's when the seller became angry, pulled out a gun, and fired multiple rounds into the victim's vehicle. Investigators say the woman and her child were inside the car when that gunfire erupted, but neither was hit. After the shooting, police said the suspect took the woman's purse and then fled into the area with a white vehicle. Officers recovered multiple shell casings from that scene. Now, investigators are asking for the public's help identifying a man seen on surveillance video. So if you happen to recognize any of these people in this video, you're asked to give police a call. We're getting our first look now at the mugshot of the man accused of opening fire on a MARTA train at the Midtown station on Friday night. MARTA police identified the suspect as 42-year-old Anthony Tyrone Gresham. Investigators say that Gresham was captured Sunday morning after a multi-agency manhunt that ended in Douglas County. According to MARTA police, we understand the shooting happened just after 7 Friday night on a train stopped at the southbound platform of that Midtown station. Officers found a man suffering from gunshot wounds to his arms and his legs. Investigators say both the victim and the suspect entered the station through the fare gates before heading towards separate rail cars. According to MARTA police, the two men made eye contact across that station. Detectives say that Gresham then walked toward the victim's rail car and fired shots from the southbound platform before running away. MARTA's Criminal Investigation Unit, with the help of Georgia Tech Police and other agencies, identified Gresham as that suspect. Authorities say that members of the FBI Ammo Task Force spotted him walking along Lee Road in Douglas County Sunday morning. When deputies tried to approach him, investigators say he ran into the woods, sparking a search involving local, state, and federal agencies. Police say a helicopter and canine team helped flush Graham out of the wooded areas, where he was taken into custody without incident. Gresham is now charged with aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Jail records show Gresham was on probation at the time of the shooting and has previous arrests, including prior cases involving MARTA police. The victim's name has not been released. Well, a grieving community gathered alongside a heartbroken family on Sunday afternoon over the weekend to honor a beloved woman killed in a random knife attack on a MARTA train. We understand that community members and family gathered to attend this vigil to remember the 66-year-old Margaret Swan, who was killed on a MARTA train. You remember that horrific incident happening a little over a week ago. Over 100 people joined Swan's family to pay their respects to the mother and grandmother. Swan was violently and randomly stabbed to death in an unprovoked attack. Police have arrested and charged 25-year-old John Elijah Matthews with murder. Swan's family shared that she'd been watching her grandchildren just before boarding that train. Family members and community advocates expressed immense grief and called for immediate safety changes across the transit network during Sunday's gathering. Wanika Patterson, an advocate with the Atlanta People's Campaign, spoke on the collective pain being felt by that neighborhood, and Swan's daughters, Shane and Tiara Sams, expressed deep heartbreak and demanded increased security to prevent future attacks on MARTA trains.
All the tragic things that's been going on in our community, we just feel like we're falling short with our people, and we want to just bring light on everything, all the tragedies that's been going on.
Everybody should be protected and safe, you know, being on public transportation. We all use public transportation from time to time, but we shouldn't be in fear if we're going to make it out or not on the train. But they need to be patrolling the trains like they used to.
My mom was very kind-hearted, brave. She's a phenomenal woman, and she always wanted to help people. She always wanted people to be good. Like yesterday, I wanted to just even call her, but I had to remind myself, like, she's not here. So, and then, like, it's been very hard because he's still alive. He's still here, you know, and he's like in protective custody. He's protected. I just don't think it's right for somebody to just prey on somebody that didn't do anything to them.
And police have again charged 25-year-old John Elijah Matthews with murder following what authorities describe as this violent, unprovoked attack on board that MARTA train that got national attention. Remember, after that attack, federal authorities said that they were going to come in and investigate exactly what happened here. Speaking of, those recent violent attacks on MARTA trains or at their stations are on the mind of a lot of people, with FIFA World Cup coming to town now in less than a week. Today, Atlanta's Public Safety Committee talked about safety on board MARTA trains. And Angelique Proctor is live now with what happened in that meeting. Angelique, they must be under tremendous pressure, not only with FIFA World Cup just down the road here, but with all of these attacks happening seemingly so close to the games.
Good afternoon to you, Tom. I can tell you there is heightened concern here at City Hall and no doubt around the city as all of these crimes have apparently been happening on this MARTA rail transportation system. We just wrapped up a public safety committee meeting just moments ago where the chairwoman, Councilwoman Andrea Boone, asked questions of the police chief, Darren Shearbaum, about the MARTA incidents, she is saying that not only have these incidents garnered local attention, but now, as you mentioned, federal attention as well.
MARTA has experienced multiple high-profile violent events, including a violent fatal stabbing and a recent shooting. What concerns does APD have about these events, and do they indicate a broader trend or a series of isolated events?
The transit authority in the city, all of our universities and colleges that are here, we share information. We conduct joint investigations. Whether it's on a college campus, a city park, or on the transit system, any act of violence is concerning to anybody. And so to make sure that we're working together to hold individuals accountable, I can tell you what information I know about those that have been arrested on the transit system. They are repeated appearances in the criminal justice system. And individuals that we would ask the courts to take note of when they're there, but that's just not the transit system, that's our own city streets. And that's in our colleges and universities in the city as well. So we're going to work with our partners to aggressively hold people accountable, deploy resources and conduct investigations so those that do cause harm in our city and our communities, that they are arrested and placed before a judge of this county.
And that is something that we heard today, that there will be more resources going towards MARTA. Of course, with the recent stabbing, first of a man, then of 66-year-old Margaret Swan, that coupled with Friday night's shooting really has a lot of people concerned. You know, just days before FIFA, the timing couldn't be any worse. Tom, the chief was asked, in light of this federal investigation, does he believe that MARTA needs more money to fight crime?
The federal inquiry is examining both safety outcomes and security spending. From APD's perspective, are there sufficient resources currently dedicated to transit security, or are there unmet needs that remain outstanding?
We don't have any role in providing for the safety of say Georgia State or Georgia Tech, Spelman, or the MARTA system. We partner with them. So those entities have their mission, just like we have the Atlanta Police Department's mission, to secure all 245 of our neighborhoods. And so I'm very confident in our partnership with Chief Crayer and his team. They are great partners to work with us. That review will determine what is being sought for, but right now our partnerships are strong with them, and those reviews will determine if there's any concerns or recommendations.
So the chief put on a very confident face, saying that he and his partners are ready for the FIFA World Cup and anything that comes along. He says that not only are they focusing on the FIFA visitors, but also the 245 neighborhoods here in the city of Atlanta, which is something that we heard the MARTA police chief talking about, Chief Crayer, over the weekend. And so they have this position that they're not just focused on FIFA, but on local residents as well.
Yeah, one can only assume, Angelique, that when FIFA is in full effect here and these hundreds of thousands of visitors are in town using the transit system, of course, we're going to see beefed up security on the trains. I'm sure MARTA police and Atlanta police are calling in added reinforcements. I guess the question here is, and it'll be interesting to see what direction this federal investigation goes into safety on board MARTA trains, but how enduring that police presence is when FIFA is long gone. You know, will we sort of have turned a page in terms of safety on board MARTA trains? Will that police presence and feeling of safety kind of last well past the games? You know, because you remember when the Olympics came, a lot of the improvements that were made for the Olympics lasted for quite a long time.
Sure, they absolutely did, Tom. You're correct in that assessment, and you've got to wonder. But what we're hearing from a lot of these officials is that their commitment to the city will continue after FIFA. But of course, if these officers, in some cases, are coming from out of town, they will go back to their jurisdictions. So you got to wonder just how we're going to negotiate all of that without that extra muscle once the FIFA World Cup games are finished.
All right. Point taken. Angelique Proctor, following what's happening at Council and Atlanta Police as it relates to safety on board MARTA in light of the violent attacks which have happened here over the past couple of weeks. Angelique, thanks so much. Early voting now underway across Georgia, headed into the June 16th runoff elections. Voters casting their ballots early through Friday. Election officials are encouraging voters to check with their local election offices for early voting locations, hours of operation, and any expected wait times before heading to the poll. You know, we got a great show right here on Fox Local at 8 o'clock every night called Red Clay Rundown. We got a couple of political analysts, experts who are really dialed into all of these campaigns, the nuances of them, what it means for you. Our Russ Spencer hosts that program every night here on Fox Local at 8 o'clock. As a result, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, Rick Jackson, advanced to a runoff. That is perhaps the highest profile race that we're going to be talking about here in this runoff election, the Republican candidate for governor and who emerges on the 16th as the candidate that's going to go up against Keisha Lance Bottoms. Republican voters will also have the chance to nominate the U.S. Senate candidate who's going to face John Ossoff. Will it be Derek Dooley or Mike Collins, both competing for the chance to challenge the Democrat incumbent? Election day is Tuesday, June the 16th. Let's take you outside for another live look, this time at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. You can see the cargo terminal there with the FedEx planes lined up and the gray skies there on the horizon indicating rain, and you can see kind of the wet runways there as well. So there is talk and watch of a possible ground stop at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport today, depending on how this weather unfolds, as we take you to the highways and the Grady Curve this afternoon, one of the big indicators of traffic in our areas. Also, something that clogs up when the roadways are wet, and today is no exception. That, I believe, is southbound. No, that's northbound traffic. Southbound on the right-hand side of your screen. Kind of jammed up already. We're joined by meteorologist Alex Forbes to talk about the implications of what's happening right now out there. Alex, this rain moving in, kind of expected. We know it's going to kind of be a yucky week in terms of the weather.
Well, and it's just getting into summertime. Now, I'm not sure if you meant the pun here, because that was the exact location of where the drains actually clogged.
Oh, right there on Grady Curve, yeah.
That's at where you get on from like Freedom Parkway right there. Not expecting that here in the city in short order, but we're definitely looking at that heavy rain developing now. Let me take you over to Fox 5 Live Viper and first take you here inside the perimeter, because we are seeing showers pretty much take over most locations. And in fact, they're at their heaviest right now, not too far away from us here at Fox 5 over North Druid Hills, south of 85, kind of in that corner between 85 and 285 that has Clarkston and over towards the Tucker area. That's where they're at their heaviest. But take a look at this. Over the last 3 hours, we are already racking up, rainfall totals that are notable. If I query some of these, parts of western Cobb County, 2 inches of rain. Marietta, about an inch. Once you work your way over into parts of DeKalb, 2.2. Parts of Henry County, 1.7. Douglasville, 2.8, right? So we're starting to get into flash flood territory. Once we get to about 3.5 inches within 3 hours today around Metro Atlanta, that's when you would see a flash flood warning be issued based on the flash flood guidance. But notice how it kind of started in the last hour, focused in East Paulding and West Cobb, and then just kind of spread out. So the energy, it's going this way, it's going that way, and it's not spreading at its intensity, which tells me it's probably going to rain for a while, right? Once it starts, it's not going to stop here in the metro area. Take you up towards the north. We've seen some more heavy downpours. Flash flooding also possible in this region, in and around the Dahlonega area, looking at some good downpours. Southern Pickens County, just outside of Blue Ridge, and then over towards the Dalton area at this hour. Slide over towards the Alabama state line, and there's some more where that came from. Tracking what's going on in southern Cleburne County. That's likely going to move over towards Carrollton, and obviously some more back over here in the Birmingham area. So that's where things stand right now. We'll also show you the rain rates. There's only a couple instances where it's coming down at a really good clip, and it's that same Spaghetti Junction area that I was just talking about. So obviously it's not going to rain at this intensity in the exact spot for an hour. But if it did, over North Druid Hills, that would come out to 7.5 inches of rain.
Okay.
That just goes to show you how quickly it's falling, right?
Yeah.
Once you get up further north, 7.8, 7.8. So you're looking at some pretty high rainfall rates, not only here, but also Redan, that's going to be southeastern DeKalb over towards Rockdale County. So, on the radar, it doesn't look that menacing, but when you look at the rainfall rates and the flash flood risk, that is obviously not a great sign. So rain continues into the night tonight. There's your out the door forecast, showers and storms, temperatures falling down into the 70s. Just not a great night to be outside. And really over the next couple of days, we've got daily shower and storm chances. I just updated this forecast. Notice we're out now at 90, 91 for Thursday, Friday. That's going to come with some heat index values, likely in the mid 90s as the humidity takes hold.
Well, it's interesting. Today it's only 80 degrees out there, but it feels so humid and muggy outside that it feels actually warmer than it really is.
Right. So that's the weather situation. Also, you mentioned this earlier, the earthquake.
Yeah.
I've been doing some digging around on social media. I've seen reports as far north as Destin and Jacksonville.
Wow. People who felt this.
Yes. And also seeing people's Ring doorbells come out of the Orlando and Tampa areas now. That kind of, it gives you the validation of, okay, yeah, it was felt there. Here's the video of shaking that was happening at the particular spot. But worth noting that there is no tsunami threat from this. I know you hear earthquake and Gulf, and that's where a lot of people's minds go. This is not the region where that happens.
Keep talking. I'm just looking at the news station, WSVN in Miami, where they undoubtedly probably felt some shaking down there. Shaking felt across Florida in the aftermath. Not specifically where, but we're talking about anywhere from, and by the way, we're talking about Florida. How close is Cancun to where all this is happening?
162 miles, right? So it's actually closer to Cancun than it is to Key West.
Yeah.
But, it likely felt there. I've seen some video from there, but I'm looking up real quick. It was the National Weather Service in Jacksonville that put out a statement on the hurricane. It is hurricane season. That's where my mind goes. But the earthquake, this is what they said here. It was, did you feel it? They've received multiple reports of shaking and tremors as far north as Jacksonville.
Incredible.
But there's no tsunami report, no tsunami threats at the area beaches.
Interesting, because if in other parts of the world where there's a 6.1 in the ocean, you might have more tsunami-like activity, but obviously not down in the Gulf.
Well, and it's all dependent on how it happens. If the earthquake is like this, so like you get one plate like this and another like this, and it goes like that, that's when you get the earthquake. But if they're just going side to side, which is what you have down in Cuba, that's where you don't get the tsunami threat.
All right, we'll continue to gather information out of Florida and surrounding areas to find out who felt this thing and how badly that was the case. Alex, thanks so much. A lot more still ahead here on the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. Don't go away. afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. Certainly glad you're with us this afternoon. Hope you're staying dry out there on what is a rainy day across North Georgia. Want to check in with our Doug Evans right now, where Doug's on top of a story, an all-out car chase, Doug, which crossed 3 counties, we understand, and ended with a maneuver that ended all this all the way out in Tyrone. So police have 3 suspects in custody, we understand, after this pursuit that went all the way from Peachtree City to Fayette County. Tell us more about what happened here.
Hey, good afternoon, Tom. So the chase started in Peachtree City. This is Friday afternoon, busy traffic. An officer tells me he saw the car drive past him, displaying what he said was a very suspicious drive-out tag. He turned his vehicle around to go take a look, and without even turning on his blue lights or anything, the car took off. Boom! Jumped into a construction zone and was going at a high speed through this construction zone that's not even paved, and then out onto State Road 54, headed out of Peachtree City into Coweta County. The Peachtree City officer says he couldn't keep up with him. He was going so fast. Eventually, Coweta County gets involved. They chase him back, the driver, back to Fayette County. Fayette County gets involved, the Fayette County Sheriff's Office, and they find him at Carriage Oaks Drive and Highway 74. And there they perform a pit maneuver and arrest the driver and 2 passengers. The driver has been identified as Rymeese Johnson, 39 years old, from College Park. The passengers, Jonathan Alexander, he's also 39, he's from East Point. And then Matthew Sullivan is 35, from Raleigh, North Carolina. Police here in Peachtree City tell me that 2 of these guys are wanted by law enforcement in other jurisdictions. Matthew Sullivan wanted by law enforcement on felony charges in North Carolina. They're charged with intent to distribute both marijuana and cocaine. Sullivan's been charged with ID fraud and financial ID theft after they found a bag of credit cards and IDs and things in the seat that he'd been sitting in. Let's hear from the Peachtree City Police Department now on how this all started and how it ended.
So the officer observed a slightly improperly displayed temp tag that didn't look right, was simply trying to go around and confirm the validity of the temporary tag that was displayed on the Nissan at the time. And before he could even get up to the vehicle to lay eyes on the tag, the vehicle was already dropped off into a construction area at our busiest intersection of Highway 54 and 74, driving recklessly through it, and it just continued from there.
That intersection, for people who don't know it, in Metro Atlanta, you said it was one of the busiest, and it is, but it's also an active construction zone as well that he's speeding through.
Yes, sir. It's been an active construction zone for quite some time now, where they're actually cutting in brand new sets of lanes and sewer lines and all kinds of infrastructure. Sometimes the elevation changes around that pavement are significant drop-offs, and this person never even hesitated, just dropped it off to a newly developed section, driving through gores and medians and anything he could do to get away from what he believed was an inevitable traffic stop. But
yeah, police tell me on Fisher Road in Coweta County, the driver was doing 110 on the wrong side of the road and around curves, and they simply couldn't keep up with him. Coweta County spotted him, I believe, closer to the highway, then chased him back into Fayette County, and that's where the Fayette County Sheriff's Office got involved and did the pit maneuver and got the car off the road. Tom?
Doug, none of these cease to amaze me. First of all, the skill with which these officers used to finally dislodge that car off of the roadway and get it to stop using the pit maneuver. Every time that this happens, their heart is racing, their adrenaline is pumping. It's never standard operating procedure when they do something like this. The second thing that never ceases to amaze me is the fact that these guys in these cars are running and are thinking to themselves, gee, what if I actually get away with this? Which there's an infinitesimal possibility that might actually happen. And in this case, of course, it did not. But it's so impressive every time to see police in action doing this not only, by the way, to capture those suspects, but to protect innocent motorists on the road who may be victim to these jerks speeding through the roadway trying to get away from police.
Yeah, Tom, you talk about a Friday afternoon at 5474 in Peachtree City, one of the busiest intersections in all of metro Atlanta. It is just pure congestion there on a Friday afternoon. The fact that this guy jumps into a construction zone, speeds through the construction zone and back out onto the road. He did hit a car, sideswiped a car very near that location. That driver wasn't hurt. It was just minimal damage to the car, we're told. But yeah, an immense amount of danger going on there. And you're also dealing with two county sheriff's departments, Coweta and Fayette County, who will chase you all day long until the sun goes down and the wheels will fall off. Peachtree City has a little more restrictive chase policy, but don't let that, give you the wrong opinion, because they'll chase as well. And we've covered a number of their chases from here all the way up to Interstate 85.
Amazing, Doug, on so many levels, as we just discussed. Glad those guys are off the streets. Glad our officers are safe and that nobody else on the roadway got injured. Doug Evans reporting live for us this afternoon here in the 3 p.m. streaming hour. Doug, thanks so much. I want to move on now and talk about some other stories making news. 6 people injured in what is being described as a stabbing spree inside New York City's Penn Station. This is an extremely busy transit hub. If you've ever been up to Penn Station, it's just packed. It's like being in Tokyo. All right, people are shoulder to shoulder walking through that station, which happens to be under renovation and construction right now. Authorities say the attack happened about 7 o'clock inside one of the nation's busiest transit hubs, just below Madison Square Garden. A suspect taken into custody at the scene. Emergency crews found 1 victim with serious injuries, 2 with moderate injuries, and several others with minor wounds. Investigators haven't said what motivated the attack or whether any of the victims were actually targeted in this stabbing. The stabbings happened less than 24 hours before thousands of fans are expected to head to MSG for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Officials haven't said whether the incident will impact safety or security plans for the game. Safe to say, New York City officials are very good at not only locking down huge venues like that, like MSG, but responding to mass casualty events, the likes of which happened at Penn Station in New York City. On to Ohio, where police in Toledo are searching for those responsible after a mass shooting left 12 people injured during a community festival. The gunfire broke out Saturday evening near the Old West End Festival, which is a popular event that attracts thousands of people each year. Authorities say 12 people between the ages of 14 and 61 were shot. Police say all the victims are expected to survive. Investigators believe at least 2 shooters were involved and may have been firing at each other when several bystanders were hit. Officers recovered multiple firearms from the scene, but no arrests have been announced. Video recordings by witnesses show people running for cover as gunshots echoed through the festival grounds. The shooting prompted organizers to cancel the final day of those festivities. Tensions are rising in the Middle East as both Israel and Iran trade fire. With this Middle East peace process, where the attempts to reach peace in the Middle East are on shaky ground. Sirens sounded across parts of Israel early Monday as the Israeli military reported missile launches from Iran and Yemen. Israel says most of the projectiles were intercepted. Iran says the attack came after Israel carried out strikes on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. The Israeli military says those strikes were in response to continued rocket fire from Hezbollah militants. The President Trump, said Sunday that Iran fired its shots and called for both sides to return to negotiations. He also said that a peace agreement could be reached as soon as this week. Israel later responded with strikes inside Iran, including a reported attack on a petrochemical facility. The escalation comes over 100 days after the war with Iran began and raises new questions about whether the fragile ceasefire can actually hold. Those strikes cause chaos at hospitals in Israel. Workers across medical facilities in Israel are moving hospital patients and the equipment needed to care for them into safer underground locations. The decision to move patients comes amid warnings by Israeli authorities of 2 waves of Iranian missiles targeting the country, with explosions heard in the skies and the public urged to take shelter. Pope Leo is making headlines in Spain with a historic visit there. Over 1 million people, I'm told, line the streets in Madrid to see the pontiff. He also makes a rare address to Spanish lawmakers. Speeches by the Pope to foreign legislators are rare since they can imply a recognition of a religious leader by lawmakers. Pope Francis addressed a joint session of Congress back in 2015, and Pope Benedict XVI addressed his native German lawmaking center back in 2011. While many Spaniards identify as Catholic, religious observances have dropped off sharply in that country. Take a listen to how the lawmakers responded when the Pope finished his speech.
Muchas gracias.
Lawmakers gave the pontiff a rousing round of applause at the end of his first papal address to the Spanish legislature today. Some even chanted, quote, "Viva el Papa," which is, of course, long live the Pope. During remarks, the pontiff highlighted the immigration crisis, saying a moral renewal was necessary in legislatures and public life to ensure respect for the inherent dignity of all people, including immigrants. I want to take you up into space. SpaceX launching. Listen to this.
3, 2, 1, ignition. Engines full power. And liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Never gets old. The Falcon 9 rocket lifted off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station early this morning. The Starlink mission added 29 new satellites to its growing constellation to expand the company's internet network.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed.
A space infrastructure developer and a designer fashion brand have formed a historic partnership to help protect astronauts during much anticipated missions. Axiom Space and Prada unveiled the jointly developed lunar spacecraft Lair, which is set to be worn during NASA's Artemis 4 upcoming moon landing. Axiom says the liquid cooling and ventilation garment is designed to be thermally regulated to the lunar South Pole, supporting spacewalks of up to 8 hours, we understand. Prada is the first luxury fashion house to help develop a spacesuit. Prada says that its expertise in design, pattern making, and advanced materials contributed to the collaboration. So SpaceX astronauts apparently will now wear Prada, in addition to, as you saw in the famous movie. The Atlanta Hawks are looking to add some new wheels to their entertainment team. Today, skaters from across the area hit the rink, hoping to earn a spot on the Hawks' new flight crew skate team. Let's get out to Chris Rosenthal, who is out on the rink, and I hope in a pair of skates to show us what's going on out there. Chris?
I've got to admit, I'm in a pair of shoes, and actually, I'll show you some of the contestants. They just wrapped up. About 45 contestants came out today, vying for 10 of them will move on from today, and 4 total of these roller skaters will be joining the new roller skate portion of the Hawks flight crew. So you may see some of these folks on the basketball court soon enough. They just had these auditions today here at, of all places here, very Atlanta at the Cascade Skating Rink here. And this is the choreographer here. Well, Solomon here. He's got moves. He's a pro skater. He is the choreographer. He taught them the moves here today, and you'll be teaching them the moves throughout the season. And tell me, how did it go today?
They did really excellent. I brought really hard choreo. It was step after step. It was really fast tempo, 135, 140 BPM, and they took it and they did their thing. I ain't gonna lie.
And what does it mean to have this, to be part of this, the first skaters on the flight crew?
It's just like really, truly amazing, especially from like people always telling me skating not a job, you can't do skating as a career, to being able to perform at the Super Bowl, to being on the circuit. We got an Atlanta Hawk skate team, y'all. These jobs didn't exist at first, and now they're coming. So it just means the world to me just to be able to bring myself and even more people skate jobs that they said we couldn't do.
And when people come to the games and they see these skaters, what can they expect?
When they come to the game and they see the skaters, they should see like tricks, spins, rolling, entertainment, and feel good. They should be like, oh man, I want to go to the skating rink after this. So they're definitely going to be blown away for sure.
So where are we at now? We're going to be finding out soon who moves on, huh?
Yeah, we're going to be finding out real soon who moves on. Everybody did their thing, but sadly, only a few can move on.
That's right. I just saw the judges go back in the back room to do their deliberations, and I think it's 10 people we're looking for today, right?
Yeah, but you never know. But yeah, they say they're looking for 10 people, so there's 10 more skate jobs that you never know. Something could change up. They might like more people, and it could be more. So you just gotta come put on your best and be ready.
All right. Well, look forward to seeing who gets through, and look forward to seeing them during the season. So
I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
I look forward to seeing who gets through. Looks forward to seeing them on the court this season. So.
Yes, I can't wait too. I'm excited. Woo! Let's go Hawks!
All right. Well, some of these people you'll be seeing them later. I'll tell you what, it's been fun to watch them all afternoon, showing their moves here. So and moves that I frankly can't keep up with or compete with for sure.
It reminds me when I was a kid. Of course, we always hung out at the skating rink with our big bell-bottom jeans on, and the show-offs always hung out in the middle. Kind of like they're doing right now, strutting their stuff. Love to see it. Brings back a lot of old memories. Chris Rosenthal with the skates on this afternoon at the rink. Chris, thanks. When we come back, training camp for the Falcons doesn't officially start for a little bit, but they're out there anyway at Flowery Branch. We're going to take you there when we come back. Hey everybody, welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haines, live with you here inside the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. I want to take you up to Flowery Branch this afternoon. It is wet out there, but that's not stopping the Falcons from taking the field. Training camp really doesn't even get underway until mid-July, but the team is back on the field, kicking off a few days of what they called OTA. That's Organized Team Activities. Let's get out to our Lexi Bowden, who's at training camp following all the action from Flowery Branch.
He's wired the right way.
It's officially official. Falcons head coach Kevin Stefanski confirming the rumors this morning. Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Drake London and the team reaching a 4-year, $141 million contract, including $100 million in guaranteed money. This deal makes him the third highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. Stefanski going on to say this morning that Drake represents all the things they believe in, how you play the game, approach this game, and how important his teammates are to him.
I mean, I called him immediately. Like right when I saw it, I called him. I was so happy for him. You know, he deserves it. He deserves everything that he gets. Like, obviously, he's one of my favorite teammates, probably my top teammate of all time. That's my best friend. That's my brother. And I was just like I was like, bro, like, you really rich, bro. Like, you have so much money.
It gets us going as an offense and as a team, and just seeing how hard he goes, you know, every day, whether it's in practice, middle of August, like third week of camp, like he'll lose, you know what I'm saying? But it's great, and I think it gets us going. And I'm just, like I said, he deserves everything he got. You know, I think he's a great, you know, piece for this offense and for this team, and he brings everybody along with him.
Doesn't like to drop a ball. Doesn't like to have a poor rep in routes versus air. Doesn't like to have a poor rep in 7-on-7. So you see the competitive nature certainly from him show up on a day-to-day basis.
London played in 12 games for the Falcons last year as he was limited by a knee injury and had just over 900 receiving yards. And you can see him out there at Falcons OTAs today. He was a limited participant as he's finishing up his medical exams and paperwork. We are expecting to hear from him tomorrow. For now, in Flowery Branch, Lexi Bowden, Fox 5 Sports.
All right, Lexi, thanks. Still a lot more ahead on the 3 p.m. streaming hour as we round out the bottom of the hour here. Today, National Best Friend Day. Not talking about your friend. I'm talking about your four-legged friend. We're going to talk about that when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. So happy you're with us this afternoon. I'm Tom Haynes with you here on the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. Today, National Best Friend Day, and that includes our four-legged furry friends. Eli Jordan live with how dog picks their best buddies and why their friendship matters to us. Eli?
Coda. Yeah, it's National Friends Day, even if you're human, doggy, kitty, anything, you know, turtle, whatever. But yes, it is National Friends Day, and we want to treat our friends right, because, especially our dogs, because they really can't speak for themselves and tell us how things are. So when we send them away, we want to make sure that they're good. And so what do we need to look out for? Well, I'm here with Lynn Ortman, owner of Dogtopia, and Dogtopia here in Tyrone is kind of new. And so, Lynn, tell me, what do dog owners need to know when they're picking out a good boarding spa and daycare for their dog?
Yeah, I mean, want to be looking for a place that is focused on the whole dog, on their health, their socialization, that they're safe, and that they're having an opportunity to find their best friend.
And so, I mean, what are some green flags to look for, and I guess maybe red flags to watch out for?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're looking for a place to take your dog, I really recommend not just looking online and seeing what their website looks like, not just calling, but actually going and visiting. Check out the space that they're going to be in, and make sure that you have access to things like cameras that let you see what your dog is doing all day. Let you see Josie. Josie's a little scared of the camera.
Josie's a beautiful dog.
She's beautiful, and she is one of our most playful pups. But yeah, she is apparently not made for the news.
Hey there. So, and also too, though, I mean, you should do more than just look out for, look online. You should go visit and spend you mentioned that you guys offer a free day of daycare.
We do, yeah. For anybody who's looking for a place to bring their dog for daycare, boarding, spa, you come in, you do a meet and greet. It's all free. We make sure that your dog is going to be comfortable in our open play environment. They actually stay and play the whole day for to regular daycare or boarding, then you know that their vaccines have been checked and that they can get along in this group play setting and be happy, and you can bring them anytime you want.
Now, vaccines, that's very important, right? Everybody's got to have their dogs, all the paperwork before they can come in.
That is absolutely, that's another really important thing to look out for in a place is you want someplace that's going to be really strict. Our dogs need to have, need to be fully vaccinated with rabies, Bordetella, look at you in distemper, because these dogs are playing with each other all day, and they're slobbering on each other and having a good time, and we want to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah, this is August right here. He's sweet. So, yeah, dogs have a lot of emotion that they have.
She is. Hey guys, August, come here.
Well, awesome.
Good boy.
Dogtopia, thank you so much for letting us hang out here today and check out the doggies and everything.
Yeah, August and Olive here absolutely adore one another. They are absolutely best friends.
Awesome. Groovy. Well, Tom, I'll kick it back to you. Let these dogs get back to being doggies.
So these are like
Snickers is an old. He's such an old soul. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
He still really appreciates.
Go ahead, Tom.
We're just loving watching these dogs
covered up by doggies
hang and do their thing. But these are people who take their dogs here and drop them off for doggy daycare, or how does it work?
Josie, oh man.
Yeah, this doggy daycare. You bring them out here, like if you have a dog that needs attention, you just don't want to leave them, at home all day. You bring it here to doggy daycare. This is boarding too. This is overnight. We've had one doggy here that its owner is a mover and he has to travel across country. Oh, wow. And that doggy, I believe Olive has
Olive's here for a whole month. Come here, honey.
It's a long term. This is like an extended stay posh hotel for Olive.
It is.
Olive's been here for like several weeks now, but Olive's happy, and
she is.
Olive's owner gets to get updates while Olive's owner is out across the country traveling and gets daily updates and makes sure Olive is just happy and
happy and healthy,
just having a good life while his owner is away, and that's what all this is all about.
The balls are a-rolling, the tails are a-wagging. What we like to see on National Best Friend Day. Eli Jordan, Eli, thanks. And thank you for joining us here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haines. Don't go anywhere, though. The news continues right here, right now.